that's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
Hello? Mic check.
Yeah. Okay, I hear you now.
Oh,
Welcome.
cool.
Welcome. How are you, man?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Yourself?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Yeah. Okay. No, it's almost like a little crazy to see you, like, see your face, because obviously I've only seen it like in that one live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really do need to get back into streaming, but I'm busy, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. But yeah, I want to say thank you for coming on. I appreciate you taking time out of your day for this.
Yeah, no problem. And I would like to say my apologies for not making it on the last one.
Don't worry about it,
Officially
man.
and formally and all that. I am sorry about that, but it's good that we've managed to make it work. So
Yeah, true. That's the most important part. So, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
yeah, sure. So I'm Jax. That's my actual. Well, it's not. It's my real name's Jackson, but I go by Jax. So nothing crazy there. I'm not very creative. So I guess a little bit of my backstory. I found out about Mordhau when I was still in the Marines. I was on a deployment in Australia, which was great. And we had a lot of downtime. And I ended up finding out about Mordhau then. And I just followed the game a ton on the forums back when they were up during like the pre-alpha and the Kickstarter period. About the time that I got back to the US, a little bit after that, I ended up getting into the Kickstarter a couple days early, along with like Guru and a few other people. And I just tried to stay pretty close to the developers. And when I got out of the Marines, when my contract was up, moved back in with my parents for a little bit. And I was like, hey, well, do you guys need like a community person? I think I'm pretty in tune with the community. And so they said, sure. And then I ended up getting onto the team April of 2018, I think. So about a year before it came out. And then it came out April 2019, and I've just been working since for Mordhau. So, and officially I'm the community manager. So I think that's kind of self-explanatory, and most people would know that.
But what does that kind of work entail then? Like, what do you do as a community manager?
So I like to think of it as being the middleman between developers and players. I try to get as much information as I can from both sides, from what we're doing on the dev team to what players are looking into, not just specific requests, but also like kind of trends, I guess you could say. And so I keep the developers updated on what people are thinking about, a specific change or a specific thing in the game, or just kind of general feeling on the game. And it helps them because that way, for example, Marox, he looks at feedback too, and all the developers do, but their job isn't to see what everyone else is thinking about the game. Like, for example, graders could be making armor and weapons and level assets and stuff like that. It frees him. My job frees him up to just work, and he can check feedback out, and like he'll go on like the Discord and look in like historical discussion stuff and be like, oh, that's a really cool armor piece. But I kind of free up and I enable the rest of the dev team to just work a little bit more efficiently, I guess. And then aside from that, a few other things I do would be coordinating with tournaments and stuff for gold, that type of stuff, a little bit of social media stuff. I also manage every inbox that we have, so the contact email and the Facebook and the Twitter and all that stuff. I get a ton of DMs. Like a lot of it's just like little odd jobs of like, hey, this person did this, what do I do? Or hey, is this gonna happen? Like I just get spammed with DMs all the time, but it's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
It's my job, and I enjoy letting people know what's going on.
Yeah, because
And
like
I
I remember that I've sent you a couple of messages. I don't know if you remember. Probably not, because you as you said, you get a lot of those DMs. But like, I remember like at a certain point when I streamed Mordhau, I got stream sniped like to the point where I literally wasn't able to play the game. And I remember that I DM'd you and you were like really nice about it and kind of told me what to do. So I think that you know, it was nice that you kind of gave me a good experience with that, like feeling like you guys actually care about that. But no,
try our
like,
best.
yeah, but that's a long time ago, like 8-9 months ago, something like that. That's like a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like I hate to say it, but I don't remember that DM.
No, I didn't
they all
expect
blend together,
to.
but
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like, I can imagine you probably get like a good amount of those a day, don't you?
yeah, I would say about 50 DMs on just Discord alone.
Oh shit!
Average.
God dang.
Probably more. It
Wow.
depends.
Yeah. Okay. Fair
And then
enough.
of course, like
fair enough.
we put an update out, and people are like, "Why is this not working?" And I get like 80 of those. But it's, you know, I sometimes I joke about it, but I really do enjoy the job, because it's fun. Because I'm not technical. I don't know how to code or anything like that. But I love video games, and I love being able to help like improve a video game, even if it's not by like working on it. So I think it's a really rewarding experience. And aside from that, I do, of course, manage the moderators. Sometimes I will go in and I'll like ban people and stuff if they need it. But more for me is adding new mods, managing, making sure that they're doing okay, and solving any issues there. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it sounds like you sound like a busy man with all that. You know, obviously, if you're managing social media and DMs and stuff like that, there's like always something you can attend to with that kind of stuff. Do you think that Mordhau is promoting itself well enough on the social medias?
No, I think I need to improve on that. It's tough because we would like to show off. It's kind of more of like a show don't tell thing. You would rather show a new map than be like, hey, look, we have a new map coming. And a lot of it too is like being a smaller team. If you were looking at like a AAA company, they would have like 4 people that just go in game and take screenshots, and then like another guy that turns them into Twitter posts, and like they would have like a schedule that runs out for like 9 months of when to do each post and stuff like that, which I mean, we don't have that. So in a way it's nice because we can kind of be more fast and like loose with it. Like I think one of the last things I did put up on Twitter is like a meme, the hot tub meta.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I saw that.
Which is fun being able to do that, and it's like that's cool. But I do think getting a little bit more involved would help. It's one of those things there where I don't think with Mordhau or social media is going to be a make or break thing. Our Twitter account isn't massive, etc. So it's not like there's a ton we're missing out on. It can always be improved, and I think it should be. But I think I'm a bit more focused on Discord and Reddit at the moment because like what we've seen is like sales and stuff, obviously that brings in new players, but being active on Discord, Reddit, and answering questions and keeping people updated on those platforms tends to have a little bit better of an effect in terms of like retaining people. So that's what I've been focusing on mostly, but I mean, like I said, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, because like, you know, something that I see a lot of other big games is that they like post all the time, but then again, as you said, AAA companies sometimes like have hundreds of employees, and some even have thousands. You know, like take League of Legends, right? They have like thousands of of employees worldwide. You know, so they can kind of, you know, they have the time like all the time in the world. They probably have like hundreds of roles for different stuff that they have like put people in boxes, you know, for different stuff. I'd
Yeah,
imagine.
and it's something. I mean, we're not like a super tiny indie company anymore. I mean, we're still indie. We're still not, we're not even close to 100 people. We got like 20 or so, but we are looking to expand a little bit, and like we have been with more developers and stuff, and getting a little bit more organization in the future. So I think we'll get more efficient with certain things like that going forwards.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea, because I think, like, from what I think people kind of see Mordhau as is like a small team that, had a very successful launch with like a lot of sales, and I don't. It seemed a little bit for like a lot of the players, I think, that you guys maybe weren't ready for like it to blow up that hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's exactly true. And for most people, at least for the original core dev team, it's pretty much like first time studio for making a game. And I mean, we thought it would do decent, right?
Yeah.
But we weren't thinking 60K peak on launch. That's good.
No, that's insane.
And so we focused all of our efforts on getting the game out. And then when it did come out, we realized like, wow, there's a lot more to keeping a game, like ongoing support. And like, we weren't like, oh, we're going to neglect it or anything, but it was more of, wow, we have all these people and we're not easily able to tackle kind of keeping the momentum going. So I think we've learned a ton from our release. Yeah.
I mean, that's always good to hear, because, like, if it lays in the cards, if you guys making another game, like, sometime in the future, I don't know if that's something that you guys have considered. It's always nice having, like, experience, especially if it's, like, as you said, first release kind of game. Launch is always, like, one of the most important things to have, like, smooth out, because it's the first impressions. So if you guys feel like you learned, a lot from that, I think that's a good thing to take with you to the next project, if you guys are gonna make one of those.
Yeah, and it's something where it's the launch, which, I mean, we had a bit of a shaky launch with like server issues and stuff, but and when that happens, you do get like a ton of refunds, and people are like, oh, this game sucks. But for the most part, people will be like, it's the first day or it's the first week.
True.
You don't want that, but that's not necessarily make or break, but obviously we've learned some things there that we can work on too. But it's more, I think for us was, we did come up a bit short when it came to, okay, the game's been out a month, what content's coming next? And we only had like 2 programmers back then. And we only had a handful of artists. I think a few more, but like, to kind of like put some perspective on it, so Marox is the lead developer and like the lead code wizard, and then we pretty much had mostly artists aside from that. Dominator does our server stuff and he's really good at all that, but now we have just extra programmers that work on other things, so we could be a lot more efficient. And then, so like if we were to have the game released right now with our current dev team, I think a lot of that content that did come out would have come out quicker, and we would have avoided some of those content droughts. But yeah, so that's kind of what we've been working on, and it's I think we have learned quite a bit, and we'll have a little bit more practice if we ever do make another game.
Yeah, for sure. Because also, like, as you said, with the launch, like, server stability and stuff, it's something you currently see in a lot of, franchises. Also, even AAA games kind of struggle with that, Like, yeah, it's like, it's not, like, super uncommon. Obviously, it's never nice, and people always try and avoid it, but, like, sometimes, there's gonna be a little bit of trouble with that kind of stuff. Like, I remember, like, Battlefield 4 is one of my all-time favorite games. The launch of that game, holy oh my god.
And they had issues for like months.
Yeah, for a long time.
And it's when you get those things, like I said, it's not the end of the world, but you initially like instantly create a bad impression for all the new people that could be playing the game. And it's hard. It kind of robs you of that momentum, I guess. And I personally, I would say that like, especially like online multiplayer games, the release is the success of the game is all about the momentum that you get from the initial release. So it is important to get that ironed out, but also to keep the content going and stuff forwards.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think like a lot of games are starting like having a roadmap by release now, like on small indie games, to kind of show people what's up next, so they don't get these, like, for example, Hell Let Loose do that, right? They have like a these briefings as well and a roadmap where they kind of talk about what's coming soon and like what can you expect in the future. And I think that's a good way to kind of calm players down when there haven't been anything dropped for like a month or two. Just as as you have something you can visualize for yourself, and I think that would probably also have been good for the game like relatively early on, like but honestly in a game like Mordhau it might be a little bit harder as well actually to do that, especially as the game just launched, because like I don't know, man, melee slashers are just a little bit different from like shooters, especially if it's like historical shooters, but because it's a little bit easier to like to take something historical, you know what I mean, instead of making something up, I'd imagine. You know what I mean?
And it's also, I think there's some there are some kind of unique challenges with gameplay, where we'll have issues with the meta. We always do, right? There's always going to be issues, but the point is just to reduce them as much as possible and continually improve. But you'll get issues, and it's like some of them aren't. Like you go look at, like, for example, you go look at Call of Duty when the newest Modern Warfare came out, and they had that double barrel shotgun that was just OP, right? And then that is, it's a simple fix. You nerf the shotgun. In their case, they nerfed it like 4 times, right? And that like fixes the issue. But for like Mordhau, some of our issues aren't just, oh, this weapon's too strong. It's this game's really hard for noobs or new players. How do you fix that? So that's stuff where that is a bit of a challenge, especially with it being interactive in terms of like, you go play a shooter, you just shoot the guy before he shoots you. But with a melee game, you have defense. So that makes balancing way harder. So having stuff like that kind of can slow down your progress in terms of development and trying to, power through those issues. So it can be tough. But
I can imagine some balancing issues will also probably lay in maybe some coding in regards to animations and stuff. Like I don't know if that's the case, but like that's what I was thinking with some stuff. For example, there's some, I don't know, do you play Mordhau? I'd imagine you probably play a little. Yeah, of course.
I got like 1,800 hours.
Oh, okay, so. Fair enough. Yeah. But so like you could do 1 frame rate cells and stuff like that. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like, I mean, most people at higher level do it, so like you're just used to it. But I think like if you show some like a new player that who just be like, okay, is this guy hacking or what's going on? He won't understand like the mechanics of the game. It's a very, very high skill ceiling in this game, and it's very hard to pick up as a new player as well. So.
Yeah, and it's something where with like 1 frame excels or like waterfall tracks or whatever, it's like, yes, they do take skill. And it is good to have a higher level of skill in the game, but we want players to be able to skillfully play without, a new player seeing that 1 frame excel and being like, excuse me, what? So a lot of it is, and what that comes down to, it's partially things like turn cap and early release and like values and stuff, but another part of it is the animations. You can smooth out an animation and change the wind ups and the release windows and recovery and all that stuff all you want, but if the animation has some kind of weird trail on it, if it extends out and goes too far or something, you're going to find some player that has 8,000 hours and they're like, oh, well, if I take that and I bring it over here, I can cut this guy's head off like 5 seconds after his carries. So that's one of our big things that we're working on now is so I don't know if you've kept up with like I guess internal news too much, but we hired an
not
animator a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been redoing every combat animation. And so he creates the raw animation, then Crush takes a look at it, suggests some tweaks, then starts doing blending and polishing it up and kind of stuff like that to make it gameplay ready. Mm-hmm. So like right now on the combat test we have the Bardiche, which it's like missing like a riposte animation or something at the moment. Mm-hmm. But like, so pole arms are coming, and then we're going to be, I'm not sure if we're going to release them all at the same time or if we're going to like progressively release like pole arms, then one hand and then two hand or whatever the case may be. But we are going to be doing new animations, which that should help with making just what people are doing more readable. And then we can fine tune that with the values. But like, there's only so much you can do with values, which is why some of these attacks right now are very busted. And it's like, we don't want to get rid of drags or excels or any of that stuff. Because the whole player freedom and having that skill element of swing manipulation is great. It's just, it needs to be in a way that looks human, and I wouldn't say it has to be perfectly readable from like a level 1 player. No. Right? Because part of the game is making your attacks kind of unreadable. But just making it make sense, I guess. So like someone does a crazy excel on you and you're not like, what is he hacking? Instead you're like, oh, he sped that up. That's what we want. Because that'll make it way better for, new players. It'll make it way better for people that don't play a ton. So
yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me, honestly. I think like there are some weapons that have some kind of weird looking animation. I know a lot of people hate fighting pole arms, for example, right? Because pole arm toe drags or stuff like that can be very difficult to read on like late riposte, for example. And then there's the thing with the what's it called, pole hammer. I don't know if you've seen the one where you do like a late riposte and look somewhere, and then your entire body just like tweaks over and like bugs out. Have you seen that?
I think it has to do with like doing a right side parry and then like a left side attack or something like that. Yeah. So
there's a lot of fun stuff in the game.
And stuff like that, like that specific issue, I think that's just a bug. But then there's other things where it's just, a lot of it is just like the length of the arc and the way it works. A lot of that stuff can just hide animations or just make it not readable. So it's going to be a process still. Like, I'm not trying to come on here and be like, oh, once the new animations are in, everything's going to be fixed.
No, of course not.
There's still going to be problems, right? But hopefully it's a good progression and it gets us closer to making things a little bit better in terms of readability.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I can't imagine, like, with a lot of different weapons, with different stats and all that kind of stuff, like, one-handers are different, some two-handers are different, pole arms, all that kind of stuff. I'd imagine, and shield animation, all that kind of stuff, there's probably a lot to, if you want to do an overall over, like, everything, it would probably take a long time, especially on a small team. So I think people are generally pretty, people are patient in the game. A lot of people put in a lot of hours, but obviously there is gonna be times of frustration when the meta changes. For example, after some patches, like the longsword meta at one point, or like Messer and stuff like that. That kind of stuff sometimes tells people. For example, I hate Messer. Like, if I see a Messer player and he flourishes me and I know I'm about to duel him, my mind is just like, don't tilt. It's not gonna be okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are gonna be little things like that, but that's where kind of what we've been doing recently with balance is we'll just knock something down a little bit. We won't go like crazy, nerf it into the bedrock, but it's something where I think there's always gonna be issues, like with that type of stuff, and I know like War Axe and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I remember when that thing was completely busted.
Oh yeah.
Now it's only mostly busted, but you know, it's a work in progress. And especially with real quick, it's with our animations. It's pretty much there's 4 animation sets. So you have your one hand with shield, 2 hand, and polearm. But sometimes with certain weapons, it's just like, oh well, this polearm is really long, so it looks busted. So like little things like that need to be fixed, as well as just kind of like those general value changes, etc.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think we'll get a handle on everything, and especially when we add new weapons and stuff, they're probably not going to be perfectly balanced off the start. And so that's where, like, I think what we've been trying to do recently is add them in and make sure they're a little underpowered, and then buff them up from there. So like that way it's not just. Yeah, I mean it's
that one.
It's okay.
That's actually kind of an odd one because like it's horizontals and underhands and all that kind of stuff. It's obviously really bad, only 10 damage, but its stabs are really good and its stab tracks is also really good. And while it might not fit like the meta of duels, it's really good in some other game modes. Like in Frontlines, it can be pretty viable if you know how to play like spear and other weapons like that. And you can also use it in SKM, like tournament stuff. No one really does it, but like it's not that you can't play it. It's a 2-hit kill that you can do for switches and stuff like that. So I think
it ended up okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most popular weapon for sure, but it's like a fun weapon. It's more like, I guess you kind of fall into like a meme weapon a little bit, like by players. Like everyone played it for like the first 2 days of the patch it came out in, and no one really plays it much anymore. But like, it's one of the kind of weapon that you equip once in a while for the fun of it, trying to do the most crazy stab tracks you can and throw it at people and stuff like that. So I think it's not a bad addition to the game at all. It's just probably not like very viable for duels, Which is like
and I think also when you look at Mordhau, because you have the top level super competitive stuff, and then like the high level still like going into duel yards and going into like 3v3 scrims or whatever, right? And I think it's okay to have weapons that like if you were to go, like you personally go into a pub lobby with a partisan, it doesn't really matter if it's top tier or not. You're still going to do well with it, right?
Yeah. Of course.
So having certain weapons that are, the S tier weapons that are, as long as there's enough of those where there's some variety, it's okay to have a few weapons that aren't like super top tier and they're just more fun. And so like also that's a big thing we've been looking into is like obviously we need to make the weapons and stuff balanced, but adding stuff in that's just kind of different, not necessarily gimmicky, but very like a very different feel. We're kind of going for stuff like that, and I'm not sure how the new scimitar when that comes out is going to play out. But what we're trying to do is we already have like 5 different 6 7 8 different swords, so like if we're going to add another sword in, it should feel a lot different. It doesn't have to be top tier, but as long as you make it unique and you make it not just another Messer or another Falchion or whatever, you make it into something that has more of an identity, I guess. So we're looking into that.
So I see you obviously guys showed off like the fact that there's coming a saber. Is that only one-handed, or can it also be played two-handed? Is that something you can tell?
Don't quote me on this. I think it's just one-handed. Okay. I'm not sure. It's not in game yet. I've seen some of the cosmetics for it, and they look really good. Some of the ones that aren't released yet. But yeah, so as for implementation, I'm not sure yet what it's going to be. I think it's one-handed only. Could be bastard, but I don't think so. I'm not sure though. So
I'm seeing some people here asking if there's a chance of there may be coming to be 2 ranked sometimes, like dual ranked, if that's a possibility. I don't know if there's something you can answer, but
So yeah, right now the biggest issue with ranked is just it's unfortunately we don't have a ton of players. So when you're looking at ranked, and like the elo, I get a ton of complaints about the elo system where it's like, well, I went up and I fought the same guy 7 times and we both do ranked. It's because in an elo system you're not supposed to play the same person over and over again, right?
No.
And what you're looking at is like, for example, 3v3, you need 3 people on your team, 3 people on the other team. You need to find people at the same rank in the same region, and ideally not just play them over and over again. So you need a lot of people to actually keep a game mode like that populated.
Yeah.
And so an issue comes out when you have, we have 1v1, we have 3v3, then we have frontline invasion, etc. And if we add more modes to the quick play, you take all those players and you kind of split them out a little bit more, right? And what that would do is it would make it even harder to find a match in 1v1 and 3v3 and 2v2. You wouldn't really be able to find a match. So at the moment, we're not looking into something like 2v2. In my opinion as well, I think 3v3 is a better mode. In a 2v2, if one person dies, then you're in a 2v1 and then the two typically win. If you're in a 3v3 and one person dies and it's 2v3, it's a little bit more manageable to come back from. So that's my thought on it. But yeah, mostly, and a lot of people suggest new game modes or like you said, like 2v2. It's something that we would have to do it very carefully because we don't want to dilute the player base.
No, that's fair.
And so like with stuff like that, like I think Brawl is a good way for us to maybe incorporate like one-off game modes, stuff like that. If we can group a bunch of different game modes into one playlist, then you get more game modes, but you don't split the players up as much. So, there is some possibility of adding new stuff there, but at the moment we're trying to focus on just player population and making sure each mode is healthy.
Yeah, I think something that might actually boost, people playing ranked is having some rewards for playing it, because right now, obviously the elo is the only thing you gain. I think that if you, for example, got like a player banner, for example, or like something like a new icon you could unlock, or maybe some special skins for, they say there's like greatsword skin if you hit Elite 5 or something like that. You get something like that would make people strive to grind more, because in the end of the day, a ranked in a game with no competitive scene, like no pro scene, for example, it's really pretty much just the bats, you can put on people, because there's a lot of great players that obviously don't play ranked, but so it doesn't really mean that much in a game like this. For example, if you make a challenger in League of Legends and there's hundreds of thousands of players in your region, it means a little more than when you are for example, getting top 100 in you gotta be what, elite? No, not Diamond 5. Diamond 5, right? Most people that played over 1,000 hours can pretty much get that if they, spend a little time on it, right? So
and it's. Oh, go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just thinking that maybe if there were some rewards for people actually, something that would make people want to play or grind rewards, something, because as how it is right now, it's mainly the same, like bunch of people that are always at the top because they're obviously the best, but if and people know that they're probably not going to beat people like Poets and Stouty and Bear and those kind of players consistently Rep Blue, because they're just like robots, they just downloaded everyone in the game. But if you then unlocked something by getting up near that rank, that would make it kind of worth the grind and worth honestly the suffering of falling down and up in elo. And it is a pain in the ass to play rank sometimes, in games, because you have a really good day, you feel really good. The day after, you might get kicked down 300 elo points, and so if you can gain something from that, over time playing it, it would make it more fun to engage with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's something where we are looking into some ways to increase retention and the amount of people that play ranked. Um, we just have to make sure whatever we do in the future, for if we do rewards, if we do whatever, that it's in a way that's kind of manageable.
Yeah.
For example, if we were to add one reward in, like one skin for each like rank, like bronze, silver, gold, whatever, going up, that would be like 6 skins or whatever, 7, I think.
Something like that.
And if we did that, well, you would have to have a way to award them, so you'd need seasons. And then that means however long each season is, we'd have to make 7 skins each season for ranked.
Yeah,
and then
that's true.
Are we going to differentiate between 1v1 and 3v3? If we are, then it's 14 skins every 3 months or something, which is too much, right?
Yeah.
So we have to find a way to do it that is something we can not necessarily like pump content out super quickly, but make it something that's kind of logical. It's not breaking our back to update rank and keeping us from doing anything else. But it's also something that's rewarding to players, like, potentially doing gold. If we had seasons and did gold at the end of them, it's not insane in terms of a reward, but like something like that plus banners or whatever the case, like there are a few options we can look into.
Yeah. So. I think with gold, right, I'm just going to talk for the majority of us that have played like a lot. Gold is kind of like, it's like, it's that kind of thing where you don't really need it, because like a lot of people have like racked up like 600,000 gold and stuff like that. And if you drop like 30 new skins tomorrow, I could probably buy half of them like on the day, right, if not more. And the entire idea with gold is like, gold is something that mainly newer players really enjoy getting a lot of, because you can customize your character and all, but when you played for like level 200, right, you pretty much have been able to buy whatever you want, since you started. So it would be cool if there were something like, maybe like a extremely expensive gold skin or something like that. Like something just like ridiculous, like 1 million gold or some stupid stuff like that. I don't know, something that would make it like, okay, actually getting some gold in tournaments would actually mean a bit more, because right now the biggest hype for tournaments is obviously the crown, right? And a lot of people win multiple tournaments. Some of the best people win multiple tournaments, and a lot of people would also want the rewards to be able to be sold on Steam, for example, like the crown, right? Personally, I don't really know how I feel about that. I would say that it should be some like an in-game exclusive, that it's just like, so that everyone can't get a high hand of the crown, because it would instantly just make it like kind of valueless.
Devalue it. Yeah.
So
something where like I don't think we would ever have the ability to sell cosmetics. Because then you get people doing weird stuff, and then it can turn into an issue. So what we are doing is we are going to be doing a new cosmetic reward that we'll use with the current crown. And it's being created right now, and I'm looking into ways to implement it. What I'm thinking of is each region, and this isn't finalized or like officially approved or anything yet. It's kind of a brainstorm on my end, but we're thinking of kind of using it like a title belt. So you have a 5v5 go on in North America, right? And 5 people win, and then 4 or 5 months later, another event happens that is for the same reward. If those 5 people win again, they keep the crown or the new cosmetic or whatever it is, right? If another team wins, the first team loses the crown. And it goes, so there's only 5 of them floating around in North America.
Oh, wow.
Something like that, I think, would be a really interesting way to do it for a high level. And then it allows us to be a little bit more loose with the crown we have right now. We have some pretty stringent requirements for, you need like 128 players and stuff like that, which it's hard to hit in regions like Oceania. And then also like there's some events that happen where, it's a draft tournament. Well, they shouldn't get crowns because it devalues it. If we have a higher crown, it's a little bit more prestigious, then we can kind of loosen the rules a little bit with the other one.
Yeah.
But in terms of just kind of, and I just want to preface again that that's not approved or anything yet. We're looking into ways to use that new crown, so we're still figuring that out. So that's not fact yet. But like you were saying with gold is something that's more of a incentive for newer players.
Yeah.
Which that's something where we see a bit of drop off is you get people, and it's kind of almost like a 50-50 whether or not they refund it within the first week of getting the game.
Yeah.
So we want to improve that. And then like if someone's like level 30 and they're playing, we want to make sure that they're able to, join into a server and they don't get stomped and they have something to look forward to. So gold's really good for that.
Of course.
But at the higher end, we also need some other form of incentive and some progression for if you're level 200 and you already have 6 million gold. What else can you do? And I would also say with like someone that's like, oh, I'm level 300 or 250 or whatever, and I have 8,000 hours in the game. Like, yeah, we want to provide incentives to keep playing, but if you've already put 8K hours into the game, like the game itself is keeping you playing for a good amount. Obviously,
sure.
You can still improve, but we're still looking at that like mid to high level long-term player retention as well still. So maybe not the level 200, but the guy that has 500 hours, and he's like, well, I'm kind of getting burnt out.
Yeah.
That, so we're not exactly sure what we're going to do with that. Gold's still going to be around. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, I think a lot of people have suggested a battle pass system as well, as an option for, cosmetics or something that you can grind towards. Maybe, I don't know how that would work. But like that obviously would be an option. But with a small team and already like putting up patches with cosmetics and stuff, I'd imagine that would probably be like a big handful to do something like that.
Yeah, so a battle pass would be really cool, and it's something I suggested a while back to the team, like, why don't we do a battle pass? The reason though is, like you said, the workload. It is pretty tough to do them because you're talking a lot of cosmetics or items that you need to pump out regularly. Yeah, and the other thing too is battle passes tend to, if it would be like a paid battle pass or something like that, it would be better. Battle passes are better for games with a lot of players. We don't have a ton of players, so they're not as good, and they wouldn't be as good of a value, I guess, if we were to ever do anything like that. So right now we're sticking to just free cosmetics, free content, all that. If we ever do monetize stuff in the future, it would be in a way that's like really fair, like either like buy this hat for $2 or $1 or something, like we wouldn't do anything crazy.
Yeah, because I think that a lot of people would actually want to support the game more than they have. Like, I bought the game, obviously. I bought Supporters Pack. I didn't get in on the Kickstarter because I genuinely didn't know about it until, like, the very end of it. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not rich, man. So it is what it is. I bought the game when it came out. No, actually before. Wait, how was it that worked? It was not an alpha, right? Well, before the game released, it was a beta then?
Yeah, so we had alpha Kickstarter, then a beta Kickstarter period, and then those were both closed, and then we had just no early access or anything.
I bought it in start early access, yeah, that's true. And I bought the Supporters Pack like a year ago or something, and I wouldn't mind spending some more money. Like, if I knew that the money were going towards the game, and obviously I'd imagine that's what the money you would earn from that kind of stuff would go towards, right? So I don't think it would be a bad idea to maybe have something like some more small packs you can buy, like maybe a skin pack or something that is exclusive. Obviously not, I wouldn't want everything to be completely like monetized. I would obviously still want to have like some like the cosmetics being free, and I think most people would want that. It would suck that if everything became like monetized and you have to pay like for everything, but maybe having like a supporter pack, like second supporter package or something like that, where you could maybe spend $10-15 and get something, I don't know, maybe a weapon skin or something like that.
Yeah, and it's something cool. Where, it's, if we are ever going to add microtransactions in terms of just like paid skins, obviously it would all be cosmetic.
Yeah.
No pay to win.
No, of course not.
I think it goes without saying, but just want to clarify. But we would have to find a balance that's fair for the players. It's not like overly intrusive, and it's not like you said, like we would never do it where it's like, oh, all the new cosmetics, you got to buy them. Like that'd be stupid. So like obviously we don't want to cause a riot.
Yeah, of course.
But it's something also like we never said that we'd never do cosmetics. We just said that like, oh, everything that on release is free. So we just have to make sure whatever we do, because microtransactions are a pretty hotly contested thing. Tensions get a bit high with them. True. So we would just have to ask the community, figure out what people are looking for, what they would be okay with, and then because I think a big thing with Mordhau in general is like we try to respect the player as much as we can, which we haven't done like, oh, you got to buy maps or you have to buy whatever. No. So and I think personally, I don't think that like most people would get upset if it was like $5 for an armor set and a weapon set or something like that. Like I don't think that would rock the boat too much.
No,
but we haven't officially. Oh, go ahead.
It's also about the way people do it, right? Like if you have a game that you pay for, and then everything in the game you have to pay more for, like when it's something that is optional and not shoved down your throat like aggressively, people won't mind it. If it's like under the game, like the supporter pack is and stuff like that, and it's not something you have to see every single time you do a loading screen or every time you go in game or stuff like that. It wouldn't, I don't think people would be too bothered. Some people would probably say, oh, sell out, and that kind of shit. But there's always going to be people that say that, But if it's done in like a subtle way for people that want to give extra support to the game, I think that people that want to do that should also be allowed to do it, And yeah, as long as it's not something flashing on the screen like back of gold, like 5 gems, and then you have like 3 rubies and 2 diamonds over here, that kind of stuff, where there's like 5 different coins you can use and stuff like that. That just, you lose complete interest in the game that has that sentiment. And it's mainly free games and mobile games, that's the thing. But still, you don't want it to be super aggressive.
Yeah, and that's something. So we haven't officially decided on anything with microtransactions or any paid cosmetics. The only thing we have is the supporter pack at the moment. So if we ever do officially decide on something, we'll be sure to let the community know and be like, hey, look, we're gonna do this. And also like with timing and stuff like that too. It's like we're not gonna go, oh, it's been 6 months since a patch, but we just did one patch to add in some stuff you could buy. Like that pissed me off.
Of course.
Work for the game, So yeah, like with all that type of stuff, we have to tread carefully, but we'll be sure to get feedback from the community and see what people actually want. Because there's no point even making cosmetic and be like, oh, buy it, if everyone's like, no, screw you. So,
true. Yeah. As long as it's not.
But if we ever do anything like that, we'll. Never.
No.
If we ever do any stuff, like I said, we'll just keep everyone in the loop and try to make it a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I think people would be happy as long as it's not loot boxes and that kind of shit. Like that's just the worst. There's no one likes loot boxes. It's okay in some games like Counter-Strike because you get a value out of it, but then again, I'm not a fan of that either.
Isn't it like illegal in a lot of countries now?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it is, and I honestly think that's a good thing. Like fuck loot boxes, it shouldn't exist. It's pretty much just gambling. It would be much better to just like allow people to buy DLC, season passes, just pay for cosmetics that are not like super expensive. Like, like some games, just have the worst pricing for the most simple skins. Like, okay, well let's change this armor just like to the tint of blue. Hey, $10. It's like come on, man. You could put a little more effort into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like again, speaking for myself, I wouldn't mind if microtransactions came in the game at some point, as long as it's done right. You know, I think most people feel like that. Yeah, I think it should be fine. Also, I have a question about Chivalry 2. Ooh. This is something you guys were sweating a little bit over, the fact that a new melee slash should come out. Or are you generally very happy that there's coming some competition out, like some recent competition?
I think overall the team's just been happy that it kind of lights a fire under us a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, there's competition, so it kind of motivates us to work harder.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone on the team is panicking like, oh god, we're gonna lose our houses because Shift 2 came out.
No.
But at the same time, it is good. And it's kind of one of those things too, where it's like there's things in. Obviously, Mordhau was a spiritual successor to Shiv 1 when it came out.
Yeah.
Now that Shiv 2's out, it's interesting to see there's some things in Shiv 2 that they kind of took some inspiration from Mordhau on, right? And that's totally fine. It's not like, oh, they copied us.
No.
It's just innovation, right?
Yeah.
And so there's some things they took some notes from us, and then we took some notes from them, and so all what that leads to is just both games being better.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And it's good for the genre, and it's good for everyone playing these games that there is competition, because it motivates us as developers, for both us and them, to continually improve the game and stuff. So.
Yeah, I agree. Also, the games are so very different. You know, like you can definitely tell by Shift 2 that their audience is way more casual, whereas Mordhaus is probably a little more sweaty, right? And most of us Mordhau boys think that Shiv is it's good stupid fun, but it's not really Mordhau, you know what I mean? It's just not the same feel. The stuff with Shiv, they don't have underhand swings and stuff like the held parry and all that kind of stuff. You know, it kind of throws a lot of people off. So I think that it's good there's two different kind of melee slashes out here now, that kind of scratches different itches, because overall what it's gonna do for the entire genre, melee slasher, right, is that it's gonna bring more eyes to it. And now there's multiple games I can look into. What would I rather have? Mordhau? Would I rather have Chivalry? You know, a lot of the time in my streams, people come in, have you played Shiv 2? What's your thoughts on it? Have you played? And then once I played some Shiv 2 off stream, and people talking about Mordhau as well. So I think it's really it's good ping pong between the communities, and also in the future, all the games coming out, drawing inspiration from both games, as you said, is good because it brings features that one might be lacking, that the other one has from both games into the next project, which is also, it's great. For example, it's the same thing with Battlefield and Call of Duty. They've always been doing that a little bit, and now you start to see it a little more, and I think it's good because overall it's good for the games,
Mm-hmm. And like you said, I think the target market is a little different, but a big thing that we've been kind of inspired by looking at Shift 2 is just hey, their game seems pretty accessible, and that's really good. That's a really good thing that they have going. Yeah. And that's something we've been trying to work towards with Mordhau, because we want the game to be very enjoyable by, like you said, the sweaty players, right? The super high skilled dudes, right? We want that, but we don't want to alienate people that just want to hop on and have fun.
Yeah, the casual players.
Yeah. So it's a balancing act. I don't think that we have to separate. It's not mutually exclusive. You don't have to have a game that's really high skill also be really unfriendly to noobs, right? So it's something we're looking into, and hopefully we can get some more progress on kind of the new player experience, I guess.
Yeah. So, you being the community manager, your job contains obviously being, in touch with the community. Do you think that, what's your honest opinion about the community, in state right now? Where there's obviously lots of toxicity, doxing and DDoSing of servers and tournaments and all that kind of stuff. Is there anything you would like to say about that, as the community manager? Maybe a slap on the wrist for some of them, and for some of the people here in chat that might need it.
Stop doing it.
Yeah.
Stop. On a serious note, I would say that kind of in my experience, what I've seen is that 90% or so of the community is great.
Yeah.
No problems. And then you have the 10% that do stuff that breaks their terms of service, people being racist, people being toxic, DDoSing, doxing, etc. And unfortunately, I spend more time on them than I do the other 90% that is great. But it's something I don't think we're not going to snap our fingers and racism is solved in Mordhau.
No, you can't.
Right?
It's impossible.
Yeah. But we've been making a lot of good efforts to fix things. And compared to where we were on release till now, I think it's a huge improvement. Still not enough, and we're getting there. But there's a lot of good stuff that's come out of our moderation efforts and cleaning up the game. I think we've muted like 9,000 people or something.
Damn.
I forget the exact number, but a lot. And that's just manual stuff. We're going to be adding in-game reporting soon. We're going to have quite a few other tools that are at our disposal for logging admin actions, etc., and doing stuff really efficiently on the manual side. And then, we've also done some other things. One thing I pushed for quite a bit was the opt-in ban list. That's now a thing for community servers. So that way, if a community server just like, hey, I don't want to deal with this, if they opt into our official ban list, then anyone that's banned officially or muted officially is then on theirs, which is great. And it also lets us do a little bit more community moderation when it comes to like events and stuff like that. It's not the end all be all. We can't just say, oh, put this on and everything will be fine. But it's kind of allowing us to help a little bit. And I've also been working a lot with like Hordor on the NA side of things and with MFC and a few tournament organizers to try to get things a little bit more cleaned up in the comp scene and improve the reputation. And it is hard to change reputation.
Absolutely.
Our reputations that, unfortunately, that it's a big racist breeding ground, which sucks. And I don't think that's exactly the case anymore. You still have people that are being very rude in game. But I think things have improved quite a bit. So it's just, if we keep doing that, then eventually people will go, oh, the game's not that bad.
Yeah.
So, but talking to the comp people, trying to get things a little bit more cleaned up, and that'll give us some confidence where we can be like, hey, let's do an official event at some point, and let's do. Yeah,
that's actually a thing I was thinking as well. Is that I think one of the reasons that people don't really, there's when there is no comp scene, there's no esports or official events that can be streamed and all that kind of stuff. There's not really a sentiment for a lot of these people that might be toxic to stay silent. If there's no repercussions of doing something, and let's be real, most people that are toxic, they go unscathed through the game because a lot of people know them and some people like them, and they don't really get reported. They don't get banned very often, right? And when they do, it's kind of scandal, So I'd imagine that if there were more effort put into the comp scene, especially here in EU, where there's pretty much everything is community made, tournaments. I think if there were more guidelines and some official events happening in the near future, people would, be forced to act according to the guidelines, because obviously if there's something on stake, people would probably not want to throw the opportunities away that comes with that. You know what I mean? If in Mordhau there's a lot of people saying a lot of dumb stuff, right? In the comp scene, they're not some of the best players, but if you would never see that in League of Legends, Counter-Strike, because they would be dropped. They would be dropped from the teams or kicked off with the tournaments and stuff like that. But that thing is kind of missing here, as there are no tournaments. You know what I mean?
And it's something I kind of see it as like a chicken versus the egg situation where, unfortunately, there are some people in the comp scene that are very toxic, and we don't want to endorse an event if those people are going to be in it. But at the same time, should we have to bribe people with cash rewards to not be racist?
No,
I don't.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Not.
So it's something where I think we've been improving, and I think the comp scene has been improving as well. It's not great yet, but it's still improving in terms of attitude and toxicity with certain people.
Yeah.
So I think it's just kind of a matter of time, and I think if we can improve things some more, we can meet in the middle and kind of work some stuff out and have people be respectful and have some events go on. But yeah, I think, especially from some of the organizers I've been talking to, there have been a lot of improvements in terms of conduct and like self-policing within these events. It's not perfect yet, but it's progress at least.
Yeah, I actually agree with the game. With the comp scene being better now. On a lot of servers, if you're a racist, you just get muted straight away, right? And people kind of frown upon it as well. I mean, some people are like, oh, it's a joke, very funny, haha. And then there's the people that are like, in most tournaments, there's not much of that, and those are community made, right? I think that if you started with some tournaments that are official, like maybe start small with like a small, something very small, and maybe start building up, testing the waters a little bit. I think, because a lot of people genuinely think that you guys have completely abandoned the comp scene to the point where it's never ever gonna be revived to any extent at all. And if you guys try and tell, maybe put some effort into saying, hey, we want to make the comp scene good again. We need some adjustments from you guys as well. We need to do this and that, and we can start, looking into it again. I think that people are gonna be like, oh, okay, actually, that's not half bad.
I think there is definitely some of that it's been something I've wanted to do for a while, and it's been comp scene's just not quite there yet. I think it's much closer to being there where we can start to really put some good efforts in. And it's something where, it's just, like I said before, it's going to be like slow progress, but I think there is progress being made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do get it though. I do get it, because obviously if you have an official event, or there's something like esports related, or maybe sponsors or something or broadcast it in some way, you obviously don't want the game to show its worst side. Obviously not, because that would that would be a bad image, not for the community but also on the game, because people, there's already a lot of hate on Mordhau, like communities that don't know about it actually, just because they heard about the racism and all that kind of stuff, which is a shame, really. It's just not something you would want to see. And it really is a shame that the comp scene is at a stage where it is now, where there's not really much going on. Because people generally do love it really much, and hopefully in the future, we can all start getting back into that, because people want it really bad. I know nothing about SKM. I'm complete terrible, but I do some tournaments once in a while and stuff like that, with a little bit of money out of my own pocket and stuff, because people love it. It don't even matter what kind it is. I've done a 2v2 tournament. I even done a dual tournament, and people were like, "Oh, that's whack," but 150 people showed up to watch. So it's that kind of stuff. People are hungry for events in the game, because they come to far apart. It's getting better now. There's actually a good amount of tournaments coming up, as of late, community hosted. But I think official tournaments would completely blow the comp scene up and make it, obviously not now, but in the future, when, as you said, it's ready for it. I think that would generally excite everyone that is not casual player.
Yeah, and it's something too, we have done some efforts on the comp scene, which ages ago we had the captain's mode that we were trialing out. And that started going well, and then it kind of lost popularity, so we were like, okay, well, because we were at one point trying to look into turning that into an official mode and making that what ranked would be, and then what would be the general format for comp events. It didn't turn out, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, it's something I think there's definitely some value to be had in doing official tournaments and stuff. So, and also too is, like I've been saying, like comp scene's kind of toxic. It's not the whole scene, because a lot of the people in the comp scene aren't toxic. It's a few bad apples, right? In some cases. So it's just working that out, and I think like I said, we're getting there. So
yeah, I'm glad to hear it. It honestly gave me a little bit of comfort knowing that you guys are, thinking about it, and I think a lot of people here actually might be happy that, just to hear what you just said, that it's something that is in your thoughts, because again, a lot of people are afraid that it is abandoned, and knowing that it's not, it's nice. There are all the memes with like soon TM and all that kind of stuff, but like, if it's something that you guys are like actively thinking about as like one of the agendas from Mordhau, I think it's a very positive thing to hear.
Yeah, it's something where it's we're not going to be, official tournaments and 100K prize of real money, and we're not going to be able to do that. It is a smaller game, but and we do have to focus on the big picture as well, which is all players, casual to competitive. So we do have priorities there, but we're not trying to neglect comp at all. No. That's why we're doing the new crown coming up soon, and that's why we're looking into some stuff like that, because we want to support the comp scene. We can't focus only on the comp scene and neglect the rest of the game. No. But we also don't want to neglect comp as well. So it's balancing things out.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think most people can understand that. It's only logical. Like, if you cater to like that, maybe 2% that plays comp, like really plays comp, and everything falls apart on the other side, there's not going to be a game to support the comp in the end. It's got to be a balance. That's fair.
Yeah. And then also, like, coming to that, like, if you can reduce toxicity, that makes comp more accessible for new players to get into it. And, I think one of our biggest priorities or strategies to improve comp is to, it might sound kind of counterintuitive, but improving the casual side of the game gets more people into the game. And then you have a bigger base of that pyramid to work with to get comp players. Then if you only have 500 people playing the game every day, you're not going to be able to, you might find one comp player per region each month or something like that, but you're not going to find a ton. If you have 20,000 people playing the game every day, then that's a whole different story. So
yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, I get it. So I don't know if you have my stream open right now anywhere, but I just want you to know that we have around 10 people or so saying, and I quote, "We don't care about the money, just host attorneys." That's pretty much just like the new slogan of the stream apparently after this. But yeah, so you can see there's a good amount of people that are very, very into it, and hopefully in the future we'll get to see more of it, because people are excited.
So, yeah, I think there's definitely some stuff we can start doing in that aspect, even doing just no money like qualifiers or something, looking up to a bigger event or something like that. I think there's a lot of ways we can turn it to get some good stuff coming out of comp.
Yeah. So is there any anti-cheat planned for Mordhau? Do you have any anti-cheat as of right now for auto parries, maybe speed hacks, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, there is auto or anti-cheat in the game. It's not super advanced, but luckily a lot of the cheats, the stuff we've seen, have been kind of simple stuff that's easily detectable. And if it gets through our anti-cheat that does exist, it's obvious as hell. Like, we'll get a video report of someone like doing like auto parry, and you're like, okay, that guy's cheating, and we just ban him.
But it can be kind of hard to tell sometimes in like the very highest level of play as well, because obviously if you're, let's say you're having a cheat on, but you're also extremely good, like, how can you tell, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, obviously, if you hit someone in the back and they parry, even though they're AFK, right? Obviously, okay, shit, yeah, you're definitely cheating. But like, if you're fighting someone extremely good, like, for example, you probably heard about Poach, right? And there's a lot of people that think he's cheating. I don't think he's cheating, but there's a lot of people that think he's cheating just because he's that good. But you know, again, then, you know, like, it's kind of weird, you know, because when there's that highest level of play, it can be hard to tell, you know, for the on the naked eye, because some mechanics in the game can be exploited better or worse by some people that have played that. For example, extended parries and stuff like that. If you can nail extended parries almost every time because you know exactly like how to do, you know, to do those consistently and stuff like that, you know, it can be hard to tell if people have like auto parry on or what's going on, you know. I think knowing that you guys have anti-cheat on and you say it's working and it detects most of it, and the things it doesn't detect is very obvious. Do you guys look at like highest level gameplay for that as well?
We haven't too much, to be honest. Our anti-cheat, it mostly functional, right? I'm not going to say it catches everything or it's
there's no
super
anti-cheat does
all the time. I mean, we get a lot of cheating reports in from public games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna go out and say like that. I don't like. How do I put this? Our anti-cheat, it works kind of, right?
It works kind of. Yeah.
But when it comes to like comp events, I haven't seen much that. There's been a couple of reports that we've taken action on. However, I don't think that there's a widespread issue with cheating in competitive play.
No, I don't think.
I think we can always improve our anti-cheat and improve on that front. So I think that's something we can look into going forwards.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, what's keeping it in mind, you know, that maybe looking sometimes at the highest level play as well is good for that, you know, because you never know. Like there are some insane players out here, and people just genuinely can't tell, and you know, maybe if some of them were checked, and you know, people there's not gonna be that conversation because a lot of people are like, oh, this guy's cheating and that kind of stuff, and it's not, you know. It's not a huge deal. Obviously, it's not something that people talk about every day and every game and stuff like that. But it comes up from time to time. So just wondering if there's something you guys were looking into. But you know.
Yeah, I mean, so I haven't heard too much about us like really prioritizing improving anti-cheat that much. However, and this goes out for anyone, if you suspect someone of cheating, message a moderator on Discord. And it's something where we might not be able to tell from one video if, oh, this guy's cheating, right?
Yeah, no.
Because a lot of times, like you said, with higher skilled players, if they were to be cheating, it's not easy to see it. They're not obvious with it, right?
No, of course not.
But I mean, we can always monitor situations. We have gotten tons of reports before of, hey, I think this guy's cheating. And then we look at the video and we're like, maybe, could be lag, could be, you know, packet loss, could be intentional packet loss, you know, you can like trying to use like clumsy or something. We don't know.
And stuff.
Yeah. And it's not enough for us to like say, okay, this guy's definitely cheating and we're going to take away his $30 copy of the game.
Yeah.
So we can't prove that, but we'll still log it in and keep a note on it. And then if we keep getting reports like that, then we can eventually, what'll happen is we'll get a report where you can clearly see the guy's cheating and we're like, okay, that's enough to go on, so we can take care of them. So yeah, I guess what I would say in terms of there are cheating accusations or issues in higher level play, just bring it up to a moderator on the official Discord. We don't police like conduct on you know, if someone's being toxic on a community server, we don't look into that, but we do if someone's cheating on a community server and we can verify that it's not like a modded server or anything like that. So he's not using a mod, or he or she isn't using a mod to cheat.
Of course.
If we could see it's actual cheating on a community server will still ban because it's cheating.
Makes sense. And you know, in games like melee slashes in general, I imagine it's harder to tell if people are cheating. Like in games like shooters, it's kind of easy to tell sometimes. Oh, my crosshair just flicked onto the guy on the other side of the map for a wall. You know, it's kind of a little bit weird. Or always knowing exactly what corners to turn and stuff like that. You can't really look for those kind of things in Mordhau. So, you know, obviously there's the parries, but some people just have insane defense. So, you know, it kind of is what it is. I got a question here that is quite good, actually. What do you guys have any plans of kind of, you know, shortening the bridge from casual to comp play? Maybe integrating the newer players or the people that don't really know about it that much. Because right now, Mordhau, if you want to play any comp game mode, you have to actively go and find a server for it. Because Rank 3 doesn't really do that kind of stuff, you know, for you, because again, it's quite dead, to be honest. You know, it is what it is, right? So like,
unfortunately,
if people are gonna scrim or pug, you know, that's pretty much how the comp works now when you join teams and stuff like that. But that's all, you know, like almost exterior from the, you know the quick play kind of stuff. So
like if someone were to boot up Mordhau and be like, oh, I really like this game. Like if they were to never go on the Discord or never go anywhere else, they wouldn't know comp exists.
No.
So yeah, it's something where it's hard to come up with a perfect solution to bridge comp.
Yeah.
And casual. I think a lot of it is just if we improve the game and we get you know, potentially some more tutorial stuff and some more stuff that shows off the skill of the game, that might get people more interested.
Yeah.
But it's not something that's a easy fix. So I don't think we have any solutions or anything planned at this time.
That is true, but I also think that maybe once you know, the comp revives again, you know, in the future, obviously the casuals will see it if it's something that you guys are promoting, like, oh, hey, that's pretty cool, let me go and try and check that out. You know, they see an insane game, like, because right now the thing is, the Twitch community of Mordhau is also small. So when there's a tournament, everyone's watching it, you know, and it's only the people that are like in that circle that watches it. So the casuals rarely see that like a lot. So if you guys were to host it officially, or there was maybe a you know, like a video or like a tab or something in the Mordhau game where it shows like upcoming tournament or something like that, people would maybe be more aware of it, you know, and maybe see it firsthand and think, hey, that looks cool, I might try and play that and get into that. Because there are a lot of newcomer teams.
I think a lot of little improvements would definitely help. Yeah, like you said. I don't think that there's, like I said, like one magic solution to it, but doing you know, more promoting tournaments, even doing like maybe even a like official coaching thing to get people good at the game. Because once, I think a big thing with Mordhau is the game gets way more fun once the combat like clicks and you understand how it works, and then you can see the skill. Like even if you get absolutely murdered by a guy, you can see like, oh wow, that was a really good drag. You know, and that can motivate people to get better. So kind of getting more people interested in the higher skill of the game and what the game has to offer could help. So yeah, I mean, I think there's some solutions there. It's just not anything like one specific thing that we can do.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with that. There's like, if it was that easy to fix things in games, just with everything has like a magical solution, there would not be any flaws in any games, you know. I've heard a lot of people say like update the tutorial, better the tutorial. Do you think it would be a good idea to maybe have some of the like top players actually, you know, be the one being in control of some of the tutorials, and then there maybe be multiple, like a beginner tutorial and an in-depth like tutorial for, like, you know, higher level? Because if there's a lot of different mechanics, like for example chamber feint to parries, you know, chamber morph feints and all this kind of stuff that new players have not seen unless they like, and they're like, what the fuck is that, and they just die, you know. There's a lot of stuff in the game that's like you have to play a lot to know it, that they just don't hear about in tutorials. Maybe some of that would help people out learning it, because most of the people that learn to play like actual play, for example in duels, they have to come into a duel server and say, hey, can anyone teach me this, because the tutorial didn't teach me, you know, what I actually essentially needed to learn.
Yeah, and it's tough because it's having an initial, like our basic tutorial. I think it's a good level of info for someone who's never played Mordhau or any game like it before, and you don't want to overwhelm a new player with like, here's 17 different attacks you need to learn. You know, it's like if you ever go play like a fighting game and you open up the character list and you're like, oh shit, like the move list, you know? Like, well, that's a lot of stuff. But what's important too with official tutorials is we should show mechanics in them, but we shouldn't go into like theory, right? Because like some of that stuff could just completely change with meta, etc. But I think probably the best way for us to go forwards with more useful tutorial stuff is to kind of do like scenario things where you can go in and do like, you know, basic stuff from even like just like parry practice to chamber practice, and like maybe even being able to like configure bots to make them scarier with that type of stuff. You know, like if the bot can like start to drag and like do like excel feints and stuff like that, that would go a long way. And then having some of this more advanced mechanics in there for like practice scenarios, that's something we could look into. I think it would be useful, so we'll see what we can do. But
I think actually there is I don't know if I'd call it a solution, but maybe like an idea for something with that. You could maybe like, let's say that someone makes like a really good tutorial, for example on this patch, or like some gameplay changes and go in depth with some of the stuff that are like would impact some higher level play, right? What do you think it would be like a bad thing to maybe shout that out, or maybe say, hey, this is a pretty good video, maybe, you know, like stuff that isn't like just all memes, but stuff that is actually like gameplay relevant, because there are definitely people that making this, you know. It would be cool if some of the, you know, effort that is made like outside the game, or like for YouTube or Twitch, maybe got shown off a little bit better, because, you know, you have a very while the community on Twitch is not huge, it's extremely tight. Everyone knows everyone, everyone cross support each other, like everyone has each other on auto host and host each other, and, you know, show love for each other. And I think it would help the scene a lot on Twitch as well, for the people that try and make a living off of your game. If you guys also maybe like once in a while said, or maybe had like a weekly thing or something where you like promote like a YouTube video or like a streamer or something like that, you know, once in a while, like maybe something like a roulette or something where, you know, you had like a small segment once in a while where you send some love out to some of the community members that try and elevate like the game itself, you know what I mean, with like drawing people in.
I think and we did it a little bit back at the release with showing off some tutorial stuff. I think Trix did something way back in the day, and we like shared a little bit of that like on Twitter. But yeah, I think you know, if we release a big patch with a lot of combat changes, and someone makes a really good YouTube tutorial or something, I don't see any reason why we couldn't put it on the main menu. You know, something like that where it's really accessible and people can see it. It helps the creator of the video out, gets some more exposure to it, and also it helps the players out. So yeah, I think that's a good idea.
You know, also, you know, the Twitch community, there are people trying to make partner and stuff with that. Like we have Lord, for example, the Censored Lord, that is quite close, and the entire community like on Twitch is behind him and showing him a great amount of support and love. And so like, for example, let's say that if you like one day like once in a while had like, for example, a small event where you would like maybe like showcase some of the streamers, like host a couple of different streamers, like that would literally explode their channel. When you guys went live last, you had like 8,000 viewers or more, something like that, like insane amount, right? If you rated anyone with that, they would get hundreds of new followers probably. Like, you know, like it's the smallest things that can make a huge difference from a lot of people. So like having that big influence, and then maybe putting a little bit of that into some of the content creators for the game would probably do, the entire community, good, and it obviously doesn't have to be something super crazy, and obviously you always have to check out who the streamers are and make sure that they're not like super, edgy and stuff like that. But I do think that it would actually help a lot of people out.
And that's something. If we do go ahead with official events and stuff, we'd be streaming them on our channel. If we're doing and our plan is generally to do one of those dev live streams each time we do a big update. So for the next update with the engine update stuff, and then Eastern Invasion, we'll do those. And I mean, I don't see a reason why we can't we can find a person that's going to be on afterwards beforehand, streaming, and we can always throw a raid over to him. So yeah, something like that. That's definitely something we could do. It's almost no effort from our end, and it totally helps someone else out. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's possible.
Like Ring says, he'd suck a staff member's toe to get Lord partnered, and anyone here who wouldn't is a poser. And that's kind of the thing here, right? The community is extremely tight, and we all like try and help each other out. And like right now, we have one of the Mordhau streamers, Lord, that is like very close, and so like those small kind of things would really put it out there, right? Like I would love to go partnered off with Mordhau, but I'm sitting on like 34 average viewers, something like that. Not nothing too crazy, but hopefully in the future, you never know. But yeah,
my partner got denied.
Yeah.
When Mordhau released still streaming, it got denied.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. Yeah. But yeah,
True.
I know the feeling. But
I sent you something, by the way. Like the chat sent a video that Visible Ranker made, a in-depth swing manipulation guide, for example, and stuff like that. Maybe if you put that kind of stuff maybe into people's hands, would probably make it it would probably help a lot of people out, stuff like that, because there's a lot of people making that kind of stuff. So it's maybe something you guys could think about in the future would be good.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait,
could even do like a little,
what do you mean?
like a little Mordhau month of every week a new tutorial comes out kind of thing from all the community.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of stuff
that
we could do.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah.
Umbra asks if you know what the Rocket League custom training tutorials are, and if he thinks that would be a good idea for something like Mordhau.
I'm not familiar with them, so
I
can't speak on that.
I don't play Rocket League. Well, fair enough.
I almost ruined a friendship with my roommate in the Marines playing Rocket League, and I'm like, okay, that's enough of that.
Okay, so I have a question from FluxyLinks here. Would you guys consider bringing BR back in the game? And I kind of think I already know the answer for this.
Unfortunately, no. So we're gonna we still have support for it on private servers. I know that there are some BR servers that pop up every now and then, but the thing is, the mode's just not it didn't take off too well in Mordhau. It could have maybe if we focused, and if Mordhau was made into a battle royale game, maybe it would be a popular mode, but it was kind of a side mode that we added in a bit as a bonus before release. Because we were able to on those maps. But the thing is, going forwards, one, we've seen that the mode isn't super popular, and making new maps like the desert maps we have coming up, we're not making them with battle royale in mind, which means that we can optimize them and make them better for frontline, invasion, and skirmish, etc. So I don't think that we're going to add to BR. We're still going to keep it supported on the maps that it does exist on, as far as I know. If something were to break with BR, we'd be sure to, patch that.
Yeah.
But we're not like actively developing more BR stuff. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but like I was saying before, with splitting the player base up and stuff, Battle Royale is another one of those modes that requires a huge population, or not a huge, but a pretty big population to
100%.
sustain. So yeah, it's a little bit out of scope for us now.
I honestly also think that it's like a community streamer, YouTuber kind of thing, to be honest, because the Battle Royale servers are 100% dead unless one of the more known streamers says, "Yo, it's Battle Royale time. There's this server right here. Join in. I'll slaughter you." And then we have it going, you know. But as soon as that ends, they have like 3 people on the servers. Like if I were to start a Battle Royale server, I have maybe 7 people playing, you know. And then Stouty goes in and he has like 20 people playing, maybe something like that, you know. It's I can get that, like, because it was dead to the point where there was no point in having the servers, because I imagine you'd probably pay for those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense, and I think as long as it's still supported to the game, and when the modding things come out, you know, later on, and people can make their own like variants of it, it's gonna revive again, you know. But for like all the casual players, it's not much. There's not enough attention to it to make it worth it, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head there. And it sucks, but it's us getting rid of it wasn't just, oh well, we're paying for servers that don't get used. It's also, you get like 20 people just stuck queuing for Battle Royale, never finding a match, and it's not fun. And it kind of negatively impacted like the health of the game in a way as well, just having like these dead servers. So yeah, unfortunate, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it is what it is. I think it's at least good you experimented with it and gave it a go, because, you know, while it might not be here now, some people to this day still get, you know, joy out of playing it, you know, on private servers. So, you know, the fact that you put it there to begin with did still, you know, kind of, you put a seed in, you know, that the community can then grow off of on private servers. So I think that's good. MH the Noob says, would they consider letting modders make maps after a certain period? The community decides which maps is the best, and the devs release official support for it. Like modded invasion, for example. Like down the road sometime.
What we're looking at, so I guess first a little quick update on the SDK. Probably would be nice for everyone. So from my understanding on our end, we're done with it. And so we sent it off to Epic for verification, and that's to make sure that we don't have any like security vulnerabilities with what we have in the SDK, and make sure that, like, you know, it doesn't look bad on Epic if like someone can't like get in there and like shut down servers based off some code we left in. The thing though is, like, I think there's like 3 games total that actually have SDK support with Unreal 4. And it's like a Squad, I think like Arc, and like one other game. So it's not something that they deal with a lot. So we're working with them. It's a process, and I'm not like throwing them under the bus with this either. It's something that takes a while.
Sure.
And we've never done it before. They don't do it often, so no one really knows how long it does take. So we're just trying to be as patient as possible and get that out. So it'd come soon, TM, right? That's all I can say about it. None of us know. We're just like, it's done when it's done. So we're just waiting on that, which is unfortunate. But what are you gonna do? But once the SDK comes out, the first thing it's gonna do, the first iteration of it, is going to be focused on maps, and we'll add other stuff in later. But map making is going to be something we're really looking forward to, because it should be pretty easy to use, and pretty powerful. As for taking community maps and making them official, it's kind of maybe. A lot of it depends on what type of maps people make, if they're compatible with game modes, etc. And then there's a lot of technical stuff when it comes to like assets being used and the legality of that, and when it comes to the performance of those maps and the download size, etc. Right? So and also, if we ever were to do a competition, unfortunately I don't think we'd let people vote on which maps we would do the voting, because you get the whole boat face incident where people are like,
true. People make some meme maps for sure.
Meme map, and it would be someone would like recreate Dark Forest, and then everyone would vote for that, and then we would not be able to add it because then it would be like a legal issue, you know.
Yeah.
So
That
that's something where I think maybe a more realistic solution could be having community stuff implemented into Brawl or implemented into some playlist that is, you know, modded maps, modded stuff that's whitelisted. Instead of making it official, making it endorsed. Could work. Who knows? We are kind of waiting. We're gonna adopt the wait and see process. When maps start coming out, we'll look at them, and you know, we can get some better info then. But right now, it's kind of all speculation. So we don't have any official plans for anything with these maps yet, aside from just obviously we're looking forward to them.
Yeah, for sure. So you know, oh, what was it? Oh yeah. Do you have maybe anything small or big, anything spicy you might be able to reveal for us for the upcoming patch? Something that maybe isn't, you know, like out there. It don't have to be something super significant or crazy. Just something to build up a little hype, you know, for the patch, because we don't really know when it's coming. It's again that soon TM.
Let's see. I was waiting on confirmation and a picture to be sent over of a map that's coming up for Eastern Invasion. And I'm waiting for that artist to get back to me. I tried to get that actually today, but looking like it's going to be tomorrow on that.
I mean,
unfortunately,
that wouldn't be a problem, to be honest. You know, if it ends up being something that is approved, you can always send it to me, and I can always, you know, credit you and the guy for, you know, allowing a first look kind of thing. That, like, today or tomorrow or next week, doesn't really matter. It would be all the same hype for the people, you know. That would be cool.
So I'm looking at a cosmetic right now, which graders, or actually no, Iris is cooked up, who's one of our new artists. Really cool cosmetic, and I'm going to talk to the team and see if I can get that sent over to you.
That would be cool.
I think it might be in the next update. We'll see. I don't know. So yeah, I will try to get something sent over to you sometime this week.
Thank you, man.
As well as we're going to be showing off on our Twitter here in a day or so, hopefully. Another screenshot of Noria, which is that desert map we've been working on quite a bit.
That's cool. 2
things coming out. And we're also going to be getting more snippets out soon as well, because I know people want them.
Yeah, it's nice. It builds up some hype with some snippets. I was thinking, obviously you can't really give a date on anything, but do you have any idea, like, of when we should be looking forward to the next, like, bigger update? Is it like in 5 months, or is it like sometime summerish era, or like fall maybe?
So the next update is going to be the engine update, and that's also going to have a decent amount of cosmetics and some other cool stuff in it. Some balance fixes, some animations, etc. That is, we're making good progress on that. I can't say when it will be ready. We are still having some issues with like rendering stuff with the engine update and like fixing bugs, etc. But we should be looking at that relatively soon. I can't give a date, unfortunately, because
they just
we don't know.
Yeah.
Also, side note, in the future, we will probably be getting a developer that's just going to be like kind of project managing and stuff like that.
Okay.
So hopefully then he'll be able to tell us when stuff is coming out, so we can give you guys some more accurate feedback. But I think the rough plan is we're looking at soon. I hate to say it, but relatively soon for the engine update. I don't think that there's a ton left. We still need to get it into the like our own development build and like actually like take it from the engine and turn that into like, you know, like build it into the actual like development testing branch.
Yeah.
and then test a little bit. So I think we're gonna get close to testing soon here. Probably a few weeks until we start testing, and then once we get into testing, we'll figure out how many bugs there are and how much stuff we need to fix.
Yeah.
But so that'll be coming up, and then we'll be doing the Eastern Invasion later this year. I'm not sure exactly when, but I would estimate probably, I wouldn't say the back half of the year. Well, yeah, I guess it would be post now because we are on the 6th month. But yeah, maybe sometime around fall or so for Eastern Invasion, but that is a very wild guess. I don't know. So
we're gonna use the soon TM. I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard soon TM, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fair.
The reason for that type of stuff is because when we're developing stuff, we have goals of what we want to put into an update, but we don't have a date. We don't have, this needs to be done by X and Y and Z. Doing that isn't really, for a team of our size, like, it's not possible. With a AAA company, they have like a project manager for the dude that's like, there's a dude setting deadlines for someone to like make weapon skins, and there's deadlines for every single thing, and it's a lot more strict with that. Yeah. We don't have that, so the best I can do is give everyone updates on how things are going.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately it's not, it's gonna be out, in 3 days, but
no.
I do what I can.
Fair. Yeah. I just, I kind of had to throw that one in there, So, Umbra is asking, can you tell us if you're gonna be streaming on, the official Mordhau Twitch before or after the patch to show maybe something off or build some hype, doing something like that?
Yeah, so we're general plan right now is to do another dev live stream before the patch, because we know roughly like maybe like 2 weeks out, we know, we're probably going to release the patch in like a week, and then it's like, it's gonna be 2 weeks, or it might be 2.5 weeks or something, but we know when we're pretty much done. It usually comes down to like a day or two beforehand. We're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna patch on Tuesday or something like that. But yeah, we'll do a bit of a live stream beforehand, show off some content, show off some stuff that hasn't been seen yet. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Remember to raid someone after, yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
Very good. Also, when are you streaming Mordhau? People want to see the jacks. They want it. You gotta give it to them sometime soon.
I am, to a little bit of personal info about me, I am, so I work for Mordhau, and it's kind of in between part-time and full-time, I would say, like 3/4 time. And I'm also going to school full-time at the moment.
Okay, fair enough.
So there's yeah,
that's not much time for that.
Yeah, it's like
fair enough.
I get a few hours a night, so it's good you caught me today, actually, because I'm on summer break.
Okay, that's good.
For another like 3 days, and then I go back to school. So it's fun.
What are you studying then? If that's something you want to
I'm doing marketing. Yeah, marketing.
Oh.
So
okay.
Yeah, I managed to sneak onto Mordhau with absolutely zero job experience, and so now I'm getting the job experience, the formal side of the training. So yeah,
that's good.
Hopefully that will help me be better.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it can be bad for the CV for like later on in life, having that on your of your list of jobs, being a community manager for like a game like Mordhau. I guess, I mean, I don't know with marketing how much that would do, but I imagine like having some experience in something like that is, it's not the most common thing to see. So I think that would probably raise some questions that you can get to talk a little bit about for an interview, I'd imagine. I mean, it's definitely not something that a lot of people in Denmark, usually hear much about.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully the plan is if we do end up making another game, I'll be on that one as well. So hopefully
Yeah,
no
that would be
interview
cool.
needed.
That would be
Just
great.
hey.
So Ecosilla asks, do you know how many voice actors there's gonna be for the female characters coming in the game?
So at the moment, we haven't started looking into voice acting yet. Our general plan is actually going to be to do the Eastern Invasion and get the darker skin tones in first, and get some kind of because there's going to be some more stuff we have to do on the code side to make that work. And once that's set up, then patch after or next major update after, we'll add female characters in. But it gives us a little bit more time to look for voice actors. Right now, we're just focused on the engine update because there's a lot of stuff going into that. And finding voice actors is really tough.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Getting the right kind of feel for it and stuff is difficult. So yeah, we're still looking into it. I would assume that we're gonna have at least more than one.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah,
hopefully.
And for the time being as well, with the darker skin tone characters, we're going to be using the same voices we have right now. We could add some more in later maybe, but it's not a huge priority, and I don't think it's going to be immersion breaking or anything like that.
No.
But yeah, so it's the thing with getting voice actors, it's hard to find them, and then it's kind of tedious because they need to get the feel of the game. Because if a voice actor goes in and like she doesn't understand like the context of the game, then some of the stuff might come off just sounding off, I guess, a little bit. Of course. So it's something where we have to kind of monitor when we do it. And I remember with the voices that we have now, it was kind of it was like a full-time job for, I think it was Merox, to talk to the voice actors and give them feedback and adjust things, etc. So it's tough. So it'll take a little while, but we should be able to get a couple voices out. I'm not sure how many. I haven't talked to Merox specifically and be like, hey, how many voices are we gonna get? So I'm not sure.
No, that's fair. If I could choose one that is never gonna happen, voice actor, for the darker skin tones, you should get Samuel L. Jackson. That would just be the best thing ever, and bump the numbers up by like 1 million players, 100%. That was mad, motherfucker.
Yeah.
No, okay. Memes aside, I think that sounds fair with the voice acting. Like it is extremely important. It's something that people don't think about like a lot. But like, if you've ever seen a series that is like animated of any sort, or like a cartoon, or the voices just doesn't really fit the character, or doesn't fit the like the overall feel, it just makes the entire show and like unwatchable. So obviously you would want something that fits in, have the right tone of voice. So that makes sense. So I imagine you're probably not looking into getting more voice lines at any point in time, like soon, either.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. How do I put it? There's no reason to not start looking early, because it takes a while to get these voices done and get them all processed and ready to go. So that's something where, I mean, we'll start working on it when when Merox says we start working on it, which whenever that is. But yeah, definitely with voice lines so one thing is for existing characters, we're not looking to add more voice lines because we already have the voices done, and there's voice actors. Would we be able to reach them again? Maybe not. And then getting them to record things with the exact same audio setup. Maybe they change setups, so you'll get like the new lines. If we added like a kill the archers line, and it might just be like louder.
Of course. Yeah.
So yeah, that's something. Yeah, they'll come. I can't really give any concrete details.
I have to like jump off my chair for like a minute. I'll ask you a question you can answer. I have a wireless headset, so I'll listen and chat will see. It takes like 1 minute. Why do you think people have a love-hate relationship with Mordhau? Go.
Okay, that is a good question. So, it's hard. It's a hard game. Especially with some of the animations and stuff, they're hard to read. So, it's something where people fall in love with the skill of the game, and then the skill of the game kind of bites them, where someone will just absolutely demolish you. It happens, and it's something where it's happened to me. I remember I hopped in a couple weeks ago and I played with one of my buddies in 3v3, and this guy just kept dragging me to oblivion, and it was like 50-50 like Excel versus drag, and it was just mind-numbing. It was so annoying because it was like I'd kill him every now and then, and then he would dumpster me most of the rounds, and I'm like, I want to kill this guy so bad. But then that happens, you get tilted, you rage quit the game, and then next day you're like, all right, now it's my turn to do that to someone else. So I would say that's why it's a love-hate relationship. And I need some coffee.
I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm so sorry. Okay,
I took a quick coffee break as well, so
yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Yeah, my bad. Let me think. What's on the agenda? Oh yeah, would you guys consider maybe doing some Twitch drops for Mordhau? Maybe some items that could be so like again to boost the maybe the viewability of Mordhau a bit more, because it is a very good like viewer game, because you can play with your viewers and they can join your servers and all that kind of stuff. I think a lot of people would be would think it was cool if they could also gain something through watching it, like some other games,
Yeah, I think Twitch drops would be awesome. The thing is, I don't know how the implementation of that works with like the API and stuff like that. That's kind of a more technical question. So like I think it would be awesome to do. I just don't know if it's something that's simple or difficult. So
yeah,
it's kind of difficult to give a prediction on that. And that's also something maybe like I would definitely say if we were to make a new game, we would absolutely do that and release. Right now it is kind of tough because Mordhau's Twitch community is a bit smaller. It could be a good way to boost it back up. And I think personally, I watch Twitch like all the time. I think Twitch is one of the best ways to get people interested in games.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I think there would be some like really good value to it. I just don't know how hard it is to do Twitch drops.
Yeah, I have no idea how it works either, but I remember someone saying that I should ask you, and I actually think it would be a pretty good idea, for like if you were for an upcoming game, because again, viewer interaction is good, and love it or hate it, influencers have a lot of of impact today, and for the better or the worse for games. So
yeah.
So yeah,
maybe I remember little anecdote. Before the game came out, I used to live with I was roommates with a streamer named Clean. He plays Tarkov, and he walks over to my room one day. He's like, "Hey, Shroud wants to play Mordhau." I'm like, "Okay," so I get him a key, and it's like 30,000 people watching me or watching him play Mordhau, and it's like, okay, this is just literally free marketing at this point. So I don't even want to know how much it costs to pay Shroud to play something.
No.
But yeah, so like I think Twitch is super huge, and like I said, it's a big value to have more Twitch community stuff going on. So yeah, I just don't know if it's something we can do currently with our current dev team and the workload and however hard it is to do Twitch integrations. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I do think that, again, also what you just mentioned with the stuff with Shroud and, Summit here before, like, not too long ago, that is you know, when you have someone with that amount of influence and like that much big of a following, when they get on the game, you know, that just sparks, you know, a bit of life into it. And I think it's very important to also, you know, maybe if someone is streaming that, maybe like throw it out somewhere so people can, you know, see it. I don't know, maybe promote that fact that they're playing the game, screenshot it, put it on. Maybe no, I don't know if you can do that without consent, but but you know, maybe like make a post about it, some of a screenshot or something like that, or you know, and post their links or something. I don't know, but it would be cool, you know.
Yeah, I always get really excited and also kind of scared when big streamers hop into Mordhau.
Yeah.
Like, oh yes, they're playing Mordhau, and look how many eyes are on Mordhau, and it's like, oh god, look how many eyes are on Mordhau.
Yeah.
I hope no one says anything stupid.
Yep.
So like when Summit played, we got like 4 mods to go join into his game and make sure.
I saw that.
Like banning team killers and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, because obviously a lot of people are like, oh, funny to meme Summit, haha, and you know, you don't want him to have a bad experience because of the community being assholes either. I tried to join his server for literally like 3 hours, and just for the sole purpose of me wanting to see him in game, not because I wanted to FFA him or anything, but like I've watched Summit for like a good amount of years, so I thought it was cool, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna see if I can get a duel with him, that'd be super cool, and it was like I couldn't get in. and I could also see he got frustrated at times because people FFA'd him and stuff like that.
And it's something too where it's like, when it comes to us, like I want to make sure that any streamer that hops on has a good time, but like I also don't want to like get in the way of them like enjoying the game. Like if they're gonna go join into a server and if they're just getting, you know, like stomped by like some really good player, like that's their choice. You know,
yeah, that's true.
Like they can always hop into a different server, and I also don't want to be like, oh, we're gonna go through and make sure you don't die, because that's annoying.
Yeah,
when a big streamer plays a smaller game, they just want to play the game. They don't want to get like their hands held or anything like that.
No, you don't want them to get a fake experience either. You don't want to tailor it to the person. They should get like the overall, you know, experience. Obviously, you don't want them to have like the bad experience, but also people that live off of playing computer and video games, I mean, they can take a beating in games. They deal with that shit all the time, you know. That's just a part of it, you know, especially in games that are way out of your normal genre, right? So, you know. And honestly, I think that he like, Summit took it very nice, and he whooped some people's ass, you know, in 3v3 rank with some of his boys, and it was a good watch, actually. So, you know, it was fun for the community as well, to watch like one of the big dogs coming and try out our little game, you know. So that
it's cool. It's always cool to see.
Fun. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Jamcake asks, any news on improving the new player experience, or can that help the streamers who don't have much time to learn get in? Yeah, that might be true.
Hi, Jamcakes. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of stuff would be like more tutorial stuff, more you know, community efforts, and some stuff that hopefully we can look into as well with it. But a lot of it too is like, you know, especially for like, if you're talking about streamers, like what happens with average big streamer and average streamer in general, what happens, you could throw 40 tutorials into the game, they'll be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, that's true.
Play the game.
Absolutely.
So it's like, there's some stuff you could do, but I think a lot of it would just be fixing up some of the wonkiness that's in Mordhau. That's what drives new players away, and that's what, you know, pisses off streamers when they're like, why did I die to that? Because they just don't know. Oh, well, you could do a Wessex overhead, you know, waterfall toe drag.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, what does that mean? You know, like, So I don't think it's like, oh, drags are the issue. It's just making things more readable and making things feel good.
That's true.
It's tough though, because it's like, it's a lot of little things. Like I've been saying, it's like there's no magic solution to anything. So yeah, it's a lot of little things that we could do to improve the new player experience. Yeah, hopefully we'll make some good strides there. Yeah,
true. I think that there are also, maybe, I don't know if that's just me that thinks this, but there are also a little bit of like a, you know, not some people come into games like these with the wrong mentality. You know, if you never played a melee slasher before and you expect it to be super easy because the people you've seen play it makes it look easy, it's like everything, it will take some time. So like if you have the mentality with, okay, this is very hard, if I play a bit more it will get easier, I'll have more fun with it. Obviously it shouldn't be so you can't have fun if you're brand new, obviously, because you would want them to have a good experience. But there's also some people that join in, play for 30 minutes, like, this game is shit because I don't know what I'm doing, you know, and maybe you're just not meant for, you know, this type of game, you know. And I think that a lot of games today kind of give you the feel that like everything's easy. You're like, if you play Call of Duty, you know, Battlefield, like Chivalry, for example, you come in, it's much easier to get like hands-on and like understand the mechanics like fast. That you can't do that with Mordhau the same way. So you have to look into it yourself. You have to put some effort into it to get good at it or to like get an understanding. And if you don't have the mentality for that, I think it's hard. It's gonna be hard to convince anyone to play the game. You know, you have to have the mentality to also kind of overcome like the harder parts of the games. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like
yeah,
Escape
absolutely.
from Tarkov, for example, is also extremely hard for new players to get into. And people fall away from the game, but like the people that enjoy it, they like the challenge, they want the excitement of like, okay, I gotta relearn how to play like a normal shooter, because it's very different, right? And it's hugely popular because it gives you something that a lot of other games can't in the same way. And I think Mordhau kinda is a little bit of the same thing, so I think it's mainly casual players that struggle with this more, rather than people that don't mind like a hard grind and, you know, putting a lot of hours in. But you obviously should cater to everyone, and so it's probably a hard balance.
It's a balance we have to strike, but also like I think a big part of it too is like, you know, when someone mentions Dark Souls, they go, "Oh, the game's really hard," right? And people already know coming in the game's going to be hard.
Yep.
And so their expectations are, I'm going to get rolled. You know, if they're playing something like Tarkov, for example, it's super hardcore. Mm-hmm. Everyone gets rolled, dies a ton their first, you know, like few times playing or more. If you can kind of manage that expectation and get that kind of thing going, it makes it a little bit easier to kind of break in and get into the game a little bit easier. So yeah, I mean, there are a ton of things we can do. I know Marox is looking into quite a few things in the whole dev team. So yeah, hopefully we have some good stuff coming up.
Yeah, that's, you know, yeah, actually, you know, as you said, it's all about the balance, and you know, it's a hard thing to really do. Catering to everybody is pretty much impossible, but like getting the overall experience to people, like, you know, smoothing the ride for everyone is always, you know, something you could strive for. Do you watch any Mordhau streams? And if so, like on Twitch, what would you like? What do you typically watch?
I check in every now and then on some people, but I can't say that I'm like regularly watching Mordhau streams. And I know that sounds bad as a community manager. The thing is,
you're a busy man, as you said before. It's kind of understandable.
Yeah, but it's also, I get done working all day with Mordhau stuff, and then I want to watch something that is like my job, and then like, oh well, there's person stream sniping this person, I gotta get on, and it's what is, I think, one of the major downsides to working for a really fun video game is that you kind of start to feel like just playing the game is work sometimes. So it kind of can sap a little bit of the fun out of watching it and playing it. But I've been trying to break that kind of mindset and get back into it. So hopefully soon, TM, I'll be watching a few more streams and playing a bit more.
I mean, that I completely understand like what you're saying. I think that's the thing for a lot of streamers too, that are like, let's say you're living off of streaming. Like, and then at some point down the line, if you keep playing the same, it's gonna become a job more than, you know, you enjoying games. And that's the thing that I've heard from a lot of different streamers like over the years, is that you know, at some point it becomes like a job playing games. So that's why a lot of people, like, they're already made it kind of do priority and to like switch it up so it's not like feels like work every day. You know, and so it makes sense to me. Obviously, you know, you're putting a lot of time into Mordhau. When you're home and relaxing, do you want to do more Mordhau? You know,
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, I haven't even really played any games that much. This past week, I hopped on like Fallout for like 30 minutes and got bored, got off, and then I played a bit of Noita, which is like a fun roguelike game for about 15 minutes, and I died, and I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. And that worked. So yeah, that's about it. Like I haven't really been gaming that much recently, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, it's not an odd thing, really. I can understand that. I probably feel the same way if it was me. You know, sometimes sometimes you're also in a struggle where like you're kind of playing the same game over and over and over, and you kind of need something new, fresh. Like for me, for example, the new Battlefield game coming out in October. Super excited for that. You know, I love the Battlefield franchise, and you know, sometimes you just need something like fresh to play, and if something you played like a lot, you need to switch it up sometimes. I mean, there's always gonna be games you're coming back to, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, and I think what it is too is like I'm getting to the point now where it's like I had to take like a bit of like a tolerance break, right, from Mordhau.
Yeah, yeah.
And every now and then now I get back in the feel of like I should play Mordhau, and I go hop on and I play like Frontline or Invasion, just pop around a little bit for like 3 hours, and I'm like, oh, that was really fun. I should do that more. So yeah, it's ebbs and flows, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. So you mentioned that you used to stream. What would you typically stream then? And what kind of streams? Mordhau.
I just did. Yeah, it was just Mordhau for the most part. And then there's like I went through like a 1 week phase of playing Fallout 4 on stream, and then everyone was like, oh my god, the community manager just plays Fallout 4. He doesn't ever do his job. It's like, yikes.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, okay, fair enough. So are you planning on getting back to streaming sometime in the future here? Like, you know, maybe not right now when you're super busy, but like sometime, like once in a while?
Yeah, I think once my like class schedule slows down a little bit, and yeah, I have a little bit more free time, then yeah, for sure.
What's your channel
it's just
called?
Jack's PC. Just typed in chat. Hi.
Yeah. Oh! Yeah, well. Oh, damn, bro. Yes, you have a lot of, okay, not bad. You have 6,000 followers. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I just quit streaming at a certain point, which I shouldn't have, but it's hard to get back into it. So yeah, maybe someday.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. That's cool. Yeah, definitely. Go and check him out. Like, I would watch your stream for sure. I mean, you're obviously NA, so I'll probably be like sleeping. But then again, I have a sleep schedule like some nocturnal animal. Like I don't sleep, man. I never sleep.
I'm a night owl as well.
So Mystic says I should first to 10 you sometime.
I'm West Coast, so I don't know if the ping would even work.
I mean, I would have first to 10 you in America can ping just for the memes of it. Honestly, just for the fun of it.
You can't do this to me on stream.
It's not that I'm super good either. So don't sweat too hard. Do you guys have any questions for Jax? Anything specific you want me to throw in the mix? Oh, okay, so I've had this question a million times. I'm gonna just ask it because then I don't have to hear it anymore. There's a guy called Strike. I don't know if you know him.
Okay. So yeah. I can give the lowdown on that. So yes, we do know that we've been hearing that he has been doxing people. We got a report of him doxing someone. However, that report of him doxing, we looked into it and we found out that it didn't meet our definitions of doxing. So we can only go off of what reports and what evidence that we have. I'm not necessarily happy about unbanning him, but I was the one that issued that decision because according to the report we had, it was not doxing. So that ban was not justified. Now, anything else he does, if we get a report of it, and please, if anyone does have an issue with a player or something that breaches our rules, you can always report it to myself or another moderator. And so that's something where I have to be a stickler, because with game bans, they are something that we are taking away access to a $30 game. So even if it's stupid, I wasn't happy about making that decision, but I have to stick to the rules. I can't just go based off of feelings with that stuff.
For sure. I get that.
I know this person's doxing, but if I can't prove it, I can't ban.
Nah, that's fair. I mean, I think, I don't want to be an asshole here, but I think you can kind of safely assume that most people here don't like Strike, because he's pretty much just known for being like absurdly toxic, and it's like that kind of stuff. He tried to fake dox me and stuff as well, like it's kind of that kind of stuff,
Yeah, I don't want to go on a witch hunt here either, when it comes to certain toxic players, like we know who the problem people are. A lot of times what happens though with comp is that we just never get reports on anything.
Yeah.
And it's something that we can't just ban based off of like, oh well, this person doxed me but I don't have any evidence. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but those are the things we're trying to crack down on. And once we can eliminate some of those problem areas from the comp scene, that's when we can start looking into more support, some stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay, I have one more question about the game ban, and I don't really want to ask it, but like I've had it spammed like 9 million times since the stream started. You probably know Law and Order, crown winning comp player, Elite 5. Everyone knows, pretty much everyone in EU that plays like higher level knows him. So yeah, like, what is it exactly you guys want to know? Strike says, yeah, I got unbanned yesterday. I love you, Jax. It was a little bit of wholesomeness.
Stop doxing people.
Yeah, stop doxing people. Don't do it. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Why did Law and Order get banned? Because we heard a little bit of different rumor. People talk, and no one really knows like too much about what's going on. It's something about he reposted a picture or something of someone. There's something about someone doxed a guy that we all know.
I'm not sure on that one. I'll try to figure that out.
Yeah, but from what we understand, it's something that he reposted a picture of someone else that like someone doxed a guy, and then he reposted the picture in like a small chat or something, and then he got reported and banned. Something like that. From what I understand, but like it's some I don't know the details, because to be honest, not really a thing that is affecting me too much. I don't really know the story, so it is kind of yeah.
And our general stuff too is we don't really like to go too public on why a specific ban happens, but I will look into that, and I'll try to get to the bottom of it and make sure that we can resolve that. It's just kind of when it comes to some reports, etc., there's like confidential information, etc. But with that one, I'm not exactly sure what's going on.
Okay. But it's something your guys are looking into, maybe.
Yeah, we can look into it.
Okay, because I think that, when it is something held in high regard, obviously there's always going to be some fires in the community when someone like held in high regard and everyone knows of gets banned. So obviously you shouldn't be biased if someone breaks the rules and there's requirement for ban. Obviously you should do that, but when it is something like that, when it's like a highly regarded player that everyone knows of, there's always going to be a lot of questions. So I think that them hearing from you that it's something that's being looked into, it's good for us to know. Yeah,
I'll be sure to talk with the moderators this week, and we'll get to the bottom of it. So yeah.
Okay, then King Despa says, will new engine version help against DDoS attacks?
Yes, it will. It'll help against some. It might not prevent all of them, but it should do. It should provide some benefit, which is actually one of the reasons why we're trying to rush. We're not trying to rush this patch, but we're trying to fast track it and get the engine update out. Usually, what happens is we have a few goals for a patch, and it's like, let's say for this one, the main one's the engine update. With some other updates, we might go, oh, well, there's this other thing that's almost done. We should wait and get that in there as well. But for this one, pretty much our main goal is once the engine update is ready, we're going to push the patch because there are some issues going on with DDoSing, etc., that we're trying to iron out because it's really hurting the community.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Okay, I actually don't know anything about this, but a couple of the comp players here are asking what your thoughts on the Galaxy scandal over in NA.
I don't know. No idea.
No, me neither. I don't. Okay. Can any of you guys elaborate a little bit on that, maybe? Okay, Hixby, he's asking, can you shoot a shotgun a beer in stream? I'd imagine that's probably a no, right?
I'm out of beer.
No, you're out of
and
beer.
The only beer I had was in a bottle. So yeah,
okay. Yeah,
that wouldn't work.
Nah.
Plus, it's like 3 p.m. It's a little early.
Oh, it's the Oh, now I get it. Okay, Galaxy was the guy that ran away with the tournament money from Venetus.
Oh yeah, I no comment on that. I don't know enough about the situation, and that's it's kind of old news.
Yeah,
something happened a long time ago, and I don't want to go into kind of like the drama territory just because I don't think it's healthy for the game.
No, I agree. I think it is old news, but I think people were kind of curious on it. I just only found out about it like 2 months ago or something like that. Didn't even know anything about it. But then again, when that happened, I were like not really big into Mordhau yet. I started with comp this year. I knew nothing about it. None of the teams or names or anything. So it's kind of crazy stuff going on here. Oh yeah, capture the flag is something that a lot of people want to see, but you kind of touched in on that a little bit with the splitting the player base. I imagine that falls a little bit into the same category with that.
Yeah. Yes. Like one-off modes could be cool in like Brawl or something like that, maybe in the future. But also, from some of our internal testing and stuff, like capture the flag doesn't work that well as a melee.
No, probably
mode.
not.
It works better when you have guns in games.
Yeah, so. I think it probably could be fun if it was like 5v5 and you spawn, obviously the normal capture the flag kind of stuff. But I think it could be fun if made right, and if it's not something you guys are planning on ever making, but the modders surely will at some point make it.
Yeah, and that's something once we have the official SDK out, it's gonna be great because people can just pop out a bunch of modes like that in the future with maps made for them and stuff, and it'd be really cool. And also, hopefully, we could get that captain's mode into one of those community playlists or whatever as well.
Yeah, that would
Hi,
be
King
sick.
Despa, by the way.
Yeah, we love you, King Despa.
I miss captain's mode, and I'm sad it didn't work out.
Are you gonna at some point improve tick rate on your official servers?
I think they're at 60 right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if we can without affecting stability.
Yeah.
Once you start getting, I'm not a server wizard, but I'm not sure if that would provide a because you think, well, a higher tick rate would be better. It would be if the servers could run it.
Yep.
And it is a big problem for us finding servers in certain regions that are stable.
Mm-hmm.
Like the NA ones were really bad for a long time, and now we've hopefully ironed out most of those issues, which I think that was due to some sort of networking bug. I don't remember the specifics. All I know is someone on the dev team said, hey, we've fixed it. hopefully. So yeah, so I don't really go to like the super nerdy details on that stuff, but
No.
yeah, like if we bumped the current servers up to 128, I think they'd all just start dying. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's something that's exactly feasible to do. And I think for casual mode, 60 is good enough.
Yeah. I mean, I actually do agree with that. If it's stuff like Frontlines and, you know, fair enough, right? But you know, for dual servers, you probably want like 120. But then again, most of the, you know, most known dual servers are all private, anyways. You know, especially here, like, yeah. I mean, in NA there's like top dogs and that kind of stuff. Here we have PH, which is like, you know, all my homies plays PH kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, and it's a lot of the, I mean, the dual yard servers, they're all running mostly, like you said, like 120, 128. That's good for that. It's just not something that when you scale up to, you know, having servers literally everywhere, that's when it becomes an issue. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm actually out of questions. We've gone for 2 hours. Do chat have anything? Okay, so King Despa says, what would help the comp scene is more game.eni server options and archer limit integration.
Yeah, I mean, that's some stuff we can look into. I know we've added a few any options recently, but those have been mostly focused on the opt-in ban list, etc. But yeah, if you want to DM me some suggestions on stuff you'd like, aside from just the archer limit, like, yeah, anyone's free to DM me suggestions as well. Just go to the official Mordhau and DM Jax. So yeah.
Stormtrooper, that's actually a really good question. How do you guys plan to gain some new players? Besides obviously the new Middle Eastern patch, is there something? Do you guys have like a strategy or like that you can talk about at least? Something that do you have a plan for, like gaining more players?
So our main thing is it's kind of two-part. It's one is improve the base game with the server updates, or the engine update, and the like hopefully new animations, fixing a lot of the combat issues, etc. Looking into some more tutorial stuff in the future and making things more accessible. And then once the game's a bit more accessible, we want to do that big Eastern Invasion content update with a ton of stuff, new maps, etc. Probably bundle it up with a sale, and doing stuff like that. We've already seen that type of stuff increases the player count a lot. We get a huge spike in players, but without the improvements of what we're doing with like the engine update and stuff like that, we lose a lot of those players. So the first thing is getting things set up where the game is more accessible and can retain more players. And then after that's accomplished, then we do a big sale, then we do a big content update and get new players in, because then hopefully they should be able to stick around a little bit longer.
So Beowulf asked, will Middle Eastern pass with Unreal Engine 5? I can't imagine it will, right? Because that would not make... You would have to redo the entire game, right?
Yeah, would have to redo the entire game. So the engine update isn't from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5. It's from Unreal Engine 4.21 to Unreal Engine 4.25. So it's still Unreal Engine 4. It's just Unreal Engine 4 with some extra goodies. Because Epic and any other company that has their own engine, they will do updates to that version. So it'll be like, like I think if you look at like some games like Ark, I think they're still in like Unreal 4.1 or something. So and that's something where it's like if you don't update your engine version, you get some issues and you start having to do custom stuff, which every game has some like custom code in it. But a lot of times what happens is like Epic will come out with an update, and the update has, for example, 4.25 has a lot of support for doing like time of day and weather variations with better lighting, and stuff. That makes it where instead of us having to do 95% of the work to do variations of maps that are like, oh, it's rainy, or oh, it's nighttime, or whatever, which is some stuff that's coming in the future, hopefully. Instead of us having to do 95% of that dev work ourselves, it's like 50%. So, yeah.
Mystic is asking, what do you need to do to become official Mordhau moderator? Is there? I imagine there's gonna be some kind of process to get into that program, right?
Yeah. So the way that works, essentially, is I'm not able to. I don't know every single person that exists and plays Mordhau. So if someone's like, "Hey, can I be a moderator?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know you." Right?
Yeah.
So the way we do it is essentially we have our existing moderators vouch for people and kind of endorse them. So that allows a bunch of other people to, if they're playing, let's say we have a EU moderator and he's playing all the time in like Germany or something, and then he keeps running into the same guy that's being helpful, he's being nice, or he runs into him all the time on the Discord and the guy's helping other people out and seems respectful, etc., then that person might endorse them, and then every few months or so I do a big moderator wave and we get all those endorsements and we put them in as trial mods.
So yeah, it's pretty much just being an all-around good guy, maybe be a little lucky with who you meet, and just be, it seems like that seems fair to me, really. So it's not that people apply in that sense, or like then getting looked at through like a system or something.
Well, and people can ask, but if they don't have if it's a random person I've never talked to or no other moderators ever talked to, and they're saying, "Hey, can I get moderator?" It's like, why do you want it? Like maybe they are being genuinely nice and they want to help the game out, but if we don't know anything about you, it could also lead to admin abuse. So that's
definitely
something I'd rather have less moderators and have no abuse happen than having hundreds of moderators and not being able to track anything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. So King Despo says, game any examples, team names, skirmish rounds to win, auto balance, that kind of stuff. I don't even know what that any stuff means. So like, for me, that's just like some wizardry, black magic kind of stuff.
Yeah, so that's just server settings that you would be able to do in a text file.
Okay.
Some of that stuff would be cool. I think we can look into quite a few of those. Auto balance is something that's been thrown around a ton for community servers and for like the public frontline invasion stuff. It would be cool to have, but it's something where we would have to do it in a way that we'd have to be very careful with how we implement it. Because otherwise it could end up having the opposite effect and making teams more stacked, or just making the game way less fun to play. So it's something we have to tread carefully on. We know people want it, but it's something that we're not going to jump the gun and do like a really quick, lazy auto balance. We're going to take our time and look at it and see exactly what we can do. So no official stance on auto balance as of now. Like, I'm not confirming or denying that we're going to add it or anything. It's something we're looking into.
Yeah. Okay. I have a little bit of a controversial question, actually. I don't know if there's something you want to answer. If you don't, then it's completely fair. You just say so. You've probably heard a lot about people being mad at Crush and doing all this kind of hate on him, and it's kind of become almost like a meme or in a bandwagon to kind of throw shade on Crush. Like, what's your thoughts on the community's I wouldn't say feedback, but like their reaction to Crush, or their like, because it seems like there's a lot of spite, and like is there some words of wisdom you would like to say to them?
Yeah. So Crash is one of the main devs, obviously, that deals with balance. So he's also like target number one. He's FBI's most wanted for any Mordhau balance issue that happens. However, Crush isn't just sitting there and going, "Oh, well, I feel like changing this," and then just having complete control over all of the balance. It's still a team effort. So if you're going to get mad at one person in particular for something, just just get mad at the whole team instead, I guess. Yeah, I think people think it's a little bit different inside the dev team than it actually is. We all work together, and so there is a shared responsibility there. And yeah, people love. I think someone in chat said there's a Crush gets turned into a scapegoat a lot when he's doing everything. Obviously, he can to improve the game. I know he doesn't like getting called out constantly either. So
no, of course not. Yeah, it's honestly an unfortunate situation with him, because I think honestly also, I don't know if he would want to, but if he came on here, I think that would also be good for people to see him, or like, get to, like, because a lot of people hear about him, but not really a lot of people hear from him, and I think it would probably maybe be good for like for everyone if he got to actually like talk his case as well, instead of everybody just throwing shade for no reason. I don't know if I would say no reason. I mean, there obviously people will get annoyed with things not being balanced and stuff, but there's also a way of throwing criticism around. You can always do it in like a more tasteful way than it currently is right now, because you don't want people to feel bad about going to work either. I would hate for me if every time I streamed that people would fucking DM me and be nasty, or like talk about me behind my back all the time and stuff like that. So I mean, I feel bad about the entire situation. Like it should not become like that.
Yeah, and it's I don't know if you'd ever want to be on camera. No one's seen his face.
Did you just these nuts flame?
These nuts. Got him! Got him!
If you try to do it to
you
me.
just got fucking god flame. Oh my god, that's the best. That's the best thing I've ever seen.
I ain't letting that shit slide.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I mean, it's something too where it's like it can be tough, and like I don't get as much of the hate because I'm just the middleman, but it is annoying coming from a developer perspective, being on the dev team, of people just like, yeah, there's issues and we want to fix them too. But when people are like, you guys suck, you stole all the money, blah, 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 it's it's demoralizing.
Oh,
I mean, I don't let it get to me, because I know people just want the game to be better, but yeah, it's it can be a bit of a drag sometimes.
For sure, and again, like that it shouldn't be the case either. Obviously there is, as I said before, time for criticism, but like how you do it is definitely very important, because you shouldn't feel bad about doing your best at what you do feel like you're doing is the right thing at the moment, and then maybe realizing later on after it coming out that it might not have been the right idea, because everyone has feedback, on different stuff. If you ask a comp player for something, he will first say, this is what needs to be fixed. If you ask a frontline player, he will say this is what needs to be fixed, and so on, right? So if people...
and it's something too where balance is very subjective.
Yeah.
In some instances, where everyone has a slightly different vision for how Mordhau should be. So we're never going to get a perfect game that suits everyone, but we're just trying to improve the game and fix areas that we see have issues, I guess.
Yeah. Oh man, this chat is great.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, you're right. I agree. I think see, like it was like the thing with Cross was one of those questions that I actually didn't really want to ask, but I also like now when we talked a bit and I get like a genuine feel of like how you are, I feel like you're very rational with it, and you're not like, obviously you gotta think about what you say, or you're representing, a team and a community, but I feel like your takes are very they're very grounded, so I'm glad that we got to have that conversation as well, because it was a little bit of a meme question for some. It was also like something that actually good to have some insight on as well, and I think when you answer feedback like that with like the community, like the devs getting hate from the community, it's probably good for the community to hear your side of it as well. You know, even though it might not be directed towards you, it's still good for the community to see that it actually is impacting people as well. You know, there's no need to be overly toxic, just for the sake of being toxic, because it is just a game after all. You know, it's not like they fuck your mom.
If you're being toxic to the main guy that has a hand in balance, and then you make him dislike you, he's probably not gonna listen to your suggestions. So that's a pro tip.
Yeah,
right there.
Absolutely true. That's a life hack you can write down, boys. So just asking Jax, would you sell out to China?
I don't even know how would I. Oh, like the game? No.
No, you shouldn't.
So I can't talk too much about business stuff, but the whole intention since the beginning has been to retain like independent control over the over Mordhau, over Traternion, and like the dev team. So oh god, China fit this dick in you. Okay.
Oh no.
Damn. I thought okay, I've been got. Okay, I'm 2 for 3.
Shit.
2 for 3 out here.
I didn't even realize that one. That was a good one. Oh, no, the podcast is turning into memes now, boys. But yeah, well, goddamn. Oh, by the way, I just want to ask you real quick. Do I have your consent to put this on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Nice. I don't want to forget to ask, and upload something if people are not comfortable with it. But if there's something you want, out of it, just let me know. I'll fix it up. Okay, cool. You guys have some actual questions that are not involving getting got by either Jax or you guys.
Chat's ruthless.
Nah, ruthless. That is the Mordhau community I know and love. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've been de-snutsed like 10 times the last 2 months or something like that. The pain is real, man. The growing pain. Yeah. Repeat.
Extreme win eventually. Eventually chaos.
One day.
How much will the most expensive skin be in the big update? I don't know. We haven't. So like usually we decide that stuff later. Also, like I don't. It's one of those things too where it's like I try to have as much info as I can, but sometimes like it's completely. I wouldn't say it's counterproductive, but it's like very tedious. Like if I were to go and like I don't go and like ask Grader, okay, every single of the like for like the 3v3 update when we added like 30 cosmetics in, I didn't go there and be like, okay, what cosmetics are you adding, and then write down like a list of each one and their price and what their name is and what they are and stuff like that. I try to keep as much of a general knowledge of things as I can, but I can't keep up to date on every single little thing that happens in Mordhau. So like someone will be like, oh, what's the timing on this weapon, and I'm like, I don't know. So yeah.
Okay, so Mystic is asking, could you put this into the next brainstorm session? Make a real golden armor tint that costs 1 million gold as a gold sink.
That's something I don't even think we have support for buying tents at the moment. Otherwise, we probably would have gone in and done some cool stuff with them, but we just don't have. I don't think that support and that like functionality is in there with the code of the game. So maybe in the future, but we do plan on some very shiny gold stuff soon. TM.
Oh, okay. Now we're talking.
Give you a little hint.
I was about to say, because you could probably put it in like with the rest of the tents, it's maybe like level 210 or something, like as the like one of the like next things. Because right now after the yeet, what there's not really much more you can obtain. So maybe if there was something more for the sweatiest of the sweatiest, that would be cool.
Yeah. Also, to clarify with the shiny gold stuff, it's not a tent. that we're working on. It's some armor sets.
Okay,
Set.
I'll take that.
It'll be very shiny.
I'll be the golden boy. you know damn well everyone in the server is gonna be rocking gold when that comes out.
Well, if they can afford it.
I mean, okay.
Who knows how much it'll be?
Shit, boys, it's time to grind now. You heard the man. Yeah, I hope I can afford it. I have like 300,000 or something like that. Hopefully, we'll see. Did you guys discuss unique armor for rank levels with the Elite 5? Yeah, we touched upon it a little bit with like maybe rewards for ranked. But what's the conclusion of that?
So essentially, it's something we can look into. We just have to make sure whatever we do isn't too much workload for us. If we were to do like seasons or gold or whatever, there's a lot of things that go into making a decision like that. That I can't give a concrete yes or no at the moment. But doing something like banners or some emblems or something like that could be possible. We'll see, but no official decision as of yet on that.
Okay. People in chat saying we want capes. No, you don't. If the cape has physics and you're like flinging it around, you can literally hide animations behind that. Just keep that in mind. People do the worst things with that. Capes would literally fuck you up. It would not be good. If you had like a big cape and you swung around and would like go to the side, you could literally hide something with that, like vision wise, I think. Turn cloth off. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, if we were ever to do like a cloak or anything, you ever play like Assassin's Creed like 2 when like Ezio had like the little side cape kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where it's not like a full cape, maybe like a thing like that, but we don't know. It's at the moment it would be cool, but we're not actively developing capes.
I mean, like if you were to make capes, you gotta make them like, it's gotta be like having the full visibility and stuff into consideration, I think, because it could easily like turn like exploitable with some weapons, like shorter weapons probably. Yeah. As you can already hide animations pretty well by like turning the side and do like a morph stab, for example. If you then had a cape covering even more vision, it would be even worse. Can you ask Jax please if he knows what Y-man is? What a Y-man is? What?
We're not. No comment. Shady Mordhau, go away with that question. It's bait.
It's bait. My funny for 60. Sloth noob and fake man. Oh no. Oh no.
I don't trust you.
Nah. It's the new spinny shift tier move. It's not bait.
Oh.
Okay.
I still don't.
People complain about it, but it's useless. I don't even know what it is. Do any of you guys have a video of it, maybe something?
I'm still up. I'm 2 to 3 right now. I'm not gonna risk that.
True. True. Keep the leaderboards going. You actually lead 5 at deflecting memes. It's a 360 swing. Oh, I hate it. I hate that. I hate that you can do it. It's so confusing when people are like, oh, I'm gonna miss you on purpose and do a 360 swing, and you're just like, what? So confusing. Get one. I got one. The Y-man is the 360 swing that people do to be okay, fair enough. Well, people really want the first to 10 on NA servers. Like, really bad.
Maybe sometime in the future, but
yeah, I say
not today.
Nah. I actually have to get up like somewhat early tomorrow as well, as I'm picking up a car for.
Ooh.
Not a car that I can like It's not that I buy a car. It's just I need to loan a car from like my grandma. Yeah, pretty much. Just to make food. Nah. Yeah, actually true, new Lambo, you heard it here first, boys. I bought it from all the tier 3 simp money. But yeah, unless chat has something important to throw in here, I don't really have much more for you, Jax.
All right, well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to have me on. It was a good chat. And
yeah, I appreciate you
glad to do
for the same. I think it was very it was both very insightful and informative, and some good jokes in here. It's nice to see that you're not like some boomer out of touch. You have some humor. We like that. So that was great, and yeah, I wish you all the best, and we'll all hear from you soon, I'd imagine, with something Mordhau related.
Yeah, hopefully soon. So
yeah, but stay safe and have a good one, man. I'll see you around.
All right, thank you. Have a great one.
Yeah, you too, man. Cheers.
Bye, everyone.